your home.
My name's Adam Friended.
I
can
know
make
we're live.
deepfakes
I
while
know
I'm
we're live.
streaming.
I know
We're
you're
not live.
I know you're trying to get
I'm
me.
Adam Friended. I'm making deepfakes. My computer's just so awesome.
You're
I
just
could
trying to
make
get me.
deepfakes.
I know.
I'm not trying to get. This is just what's happening
I know
right
your
now.
fucking tricks, dude. There's no way.
Hey now!
Hey now! Hey now!
What's going on, everybody? It's time for the Sunday stream with everyone's favorite friended forever, who's too busy. He can't even take a day off to just stream. Okay, no, he's got to make deep fakes right now at this very moment. This is how obsessed he is.
Oh my god! I never should have. I never should have taken on a new hobby.
You should not have taken on new. And I don't even understand, because to me, deepfakes is just something people use to make illegal porn.
Really?
That's all I see. I don't know what he's doing with it over there.
Well, first of all, I am very virtuous. I've never seen pornography in my life. I wouldn't. I've never seen one of these deep fake pornos that you're talking about. This sounds completely disgusting to me.
I don't even know what the word porn means. I've never heard this word before. Explain it to me.
Well, I've heard the word. Come on, I'm not that sheltered.
Okay.
I've heard tell of this pornographic film. This is where the people they disrobe and they have sexual relations with one another.
Yes, unpure sexual relations between unmarried couples. It's just the worst thing you could imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible. So, besides deepfakes, and no, we are not going to be. I told Adam he should deepfake. I already forgot his name. Quinton's face onto his face, but he wasn't on board with that idea.
Yeah, I was definitely not on board with that idea.
He couldn't cover up his beautiful Adam Friended's face. But today, besides deepfakes, we will be, I thought the world right now, it's overrun with shootings and racism and all this disastrous things. And I was like, fuck that. No one cares about that. What we want is petty internet drama. So today we will be looking at the highly requested Quinton video where he basically gets down on his knees and begs Contrapoints. He says, Contra, please notice me. Please let me into BreadTube. I have this big crush on Jenny Nicholson, and I just want her to notice me. Please, Contra, tell them I'm a good guy.
Can we officially dub this Contra pleading?
There you go. And actually, I had from a reliable source who will remain anonymous for protection reasons, say that people in the BreadTube community are aware of how pathetic of how over the top Quinton is at trying to beg to get them to notice him.
Wow.
They're aware of it, and they're they don't want anything to do with Quinton. So if you're watching Quinton, you need to calm down. You got to relax. You got to play it cool. You're coming on too strong, Quinton. Too strong.
No, I was under the impression all you had to do to get into the BreadTube community is to quit your job and become homeless.
Ouch.
Is that true?
Hey, you say that, but I mean, look at some of the BreadTube people they're making bank. I don't know what you're talking about.
Contra's making bank, but this is going to be tough for me. I really need to start early. She, Contra, she is making fat cash, isn't she?
She is making fat cash.
Yeah.
But I think H Bomber Guy and Philosophy Tube are doing well too. So.
Am I allowed to misgender H Bomber Guy because she's making fat cash too?
It's funny. I think someone told me, I don't know if it's true, someone told me that one of them identifies as non-binary. So. Maybe that's the requirement for BreadTube.
Oh my god.
You have to be non-binary.
Well, since I don't watch
straight
any
white males
content.
allowed.
Yeah, exactly. You should tell your theory about why the non-binaries are popping up. It's the only way to.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, my non-binary. I've said this before, but my non-binary theory is that it's the only way for white people to gain privilege points. Because if you're white and you're straight, you're at the top of the privilege ladder. No one's gonna listen to you. So all of a sudden you'd be like, wait a minute, I'm not straight. I'm non-binary.
Yeah.
people have been coming after my kind for thousands of years in which we didn't exist. So,
Just to pick up the oppression points. Free oppression
That's
points.
right.
Like, why wouldn't you want some free oppression points?
exactly. There's money on the table. You're going to take it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're pulling a Donald Trump, as Scott Adams always says.
Yeah. Oh my. So this video is only 17 minutes. Man, we're going to be
It
out of
is.
here early today. This is awesome.
I know. No,
Gonna
no,
get
we're
through
not. What are you
this.
talking about? We're going to be talking about this video for like 4 hours.
I can be deep faking all day.
So a little background on. Oh my God, you're obsessed. But a little background on Quinton. For those that don't know, I found Quinton. I assume the way most people found Quinton, which is that he made a response video to the iDubbbz. What was that lady's name? Who was complaining that iDubbbz used the N-word?
I don't remember.
Whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He made a response video to that, and he defended iDubbbz. And for some reason, that video, it was like the first iDubbbz response video I think anyone made at the time, like on that topic. So it got pushed to the top of the algorithm. So he got a bunch of views. I started watching after that. Some of his videos were good, some were kind of boring. And then somewhere along the line, he just got woke. He got very mad about the anti-SJW sphere of YouTube and wanted everyone to know how virtuous he was.
Yeah. Are we anti-SJWs? Just I'm checking in.
I guess.
I feel like we're pro free speech, and really that we're just disaffected liberals. Like, just
we
be
are
honest.
disaffected liberals, yes. Well, unfortunately,
We didn't get in the bread tube.
no. Unfortunately, the anti-SJW label has become tainted, and so people don't want to use it anymore.
Well, I never liked that label because I like positive things. I like to be for stuff. I don't like to be against stuff. Yeah.
That's right. We're not anti-SJW. We're for pro-free speech. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're
Pro-free
not
speech.
pro-abortion. We're pro-choice.
Pro-gun
Come on, get it
rights. Pro John Stossel. Oh,
No,
wait a second.
no. You need to stop right now. There's no pro John Stossel going on right here. Okay, we're not doing that.
Sometimes I think I just confuse people because, like,
Yeah, everyone thinks you're
seriously.
like some sort of like libertarian or something.
Yeah, totally. I'm supposed to debate the same libertarian that Sargon debated. We did the live stream on. Yeah.
Oh, that
And
guy
debate
was
him
silly.
on Think Club. Yeah. And hey, guess Sitch is debating on Think Club this week.
That's right.
Yeah. Debating the forbidden topic.
What is the forbidden topic, Adam?
Should gender dysphoria remain in the DSM as a mental illness?
Dun dun dun.
Oh, that's scary.
Is that really
man.
a forbidden topic?
Yeah, but definitely.
I mean, for the purposes of marketing, it is sure, but beyond that,
Yeah, you have a good argument though. A great
do.
argument. The opposition always throws out, well, homosexuality used to be in the DSM, and we don't think of homosexuals as mentally ill, right? Yeah.
Well, I can't give my argument because
No,
then people
don't
won't
give
turn
it
into
away.
the stream. So there
Yeah,
you go.
exactly.
You'll have to. It's on Wednesday at what time?
I think it's like good promo here.
Yeah, I know. I
Like
don't even know what time it is.
I think it's like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Yeah, it's 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pacific. Ugh.
5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah,
Ugh.
I know. Yeah, California is
Anyway.
just such a horrible place to live.
I know. Anyway, let's get into
100 years of the best looking people in the world moving here, contributing to
No.
the gene pool. Oh, it's terrible here. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so oppressed.
all those terrible woke liberals all getting shot.
Oh, well, hey, that
West
part.
End. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's dive in.
To think that when I first went to VidCon years and years and years ago, I was an anti.
You know, Quinton's one of those. Yeah, I know. I can be ready to stop. Quinton's one of those people who like they have a beard, and then as soon as they shave it, you're like, oh, that was a mistake.
Really? Wow.
Well, I
Ad
mean, look at
hominem right out of the gate.
Just look at it.
Everyone thinks I'm the mean one, and it's so funny because you're 10 times meaner than me. I don't like making fun of people's appearance. Come on.
I'm
That's
just
bad
I'm
news.
saying,
Says the
I'm
guy
trying
who
to-
uses an
okay, look.
avatar who doesn't even
look.
go on camera.
look. I'm being constructive, okay? I'm
No,
not
you're not.
trying to be mean.
You're trying
I'm
to
trying
tell
to help.
You're trying to say
okay?
don't shave. Okay, Quinton.
I'm trying. Yes. Hey, look. You in my.
We're trying to be nice
told,
here.
I criticized Jordan Peterson's facial hair. Remember when he had the whole beard thing going on? I was like, no, it's a bad idea.
The Grizzly Adams.
And you know what? He shaved. I believe he saw my video and he shaved because I said that.
Oh, good for
so.
good for you. That's awesome.
All I'm saying is some people can wear the facial stubble and some people can't. Okay?
Well, so I noticed some people are upset that you pause a lot. We got 5 seconds into the video. And you already paused it. Like, you haven't even let him do a point. I just want to say, because there's some controversy over this in our comment section. Sitch pauses about 99.9% of the pauses here. He's got about 106 pauses to every 4.
That's true. Look, if
I don't even have my hand on the pause.
Look, life is full of disappointments. Okay, so if the pauses disappoint you, prepare to be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, while you have it paused, though, I want to say, just factually, wasn't Quinton, the first time Quinton went to VidCon was like when we met him there? It seems like...
No. He went to Quinton... I mean, look, he went to VidCon the year before I went.
Okay, but that was his first time, right?
That was his first time, which we'll talk about once
now,
I unpause it and he actually makes a point.
Didn't he just open up saying many, many years ago when I went to VidCon? I mean, I'm thinking this was like last year when we...
I went to VidCon last year, right?
This was 2 years ago. I don't know how you make 2 years ago many, many, many years ago.
Well, okay.
My long storied history at VidCon. Dude, you went twice. I don't know, did you go this year? Because we didn't go.
You know what? You're right, but here's the reason for it, okay? It's because he's going to try to say like, oh, like many years ago when I was a bad person. Okay, so that's why he's adding the many years. He's trying to add distance between the bad Quinton and the now good Quinton.
So the first year that I went to VidCon was the first year that Quinton went to VidCon.
Second year.
Now, no, that was the first year he went to VidCon because I went the first year without you.
Oh yeah. You're right.
I walked into a Cat Black like Anita Sarkeesian panel, right? And I'm running in late. I'm running in late. I sit down. Guess who I sat right next to?
Who?
Contrapoints. I was like, holy shit. This is like the worst seating ever.
This was pre-transition Contra though, right?
Yes, totally. And I made a bunch of response videos to Contrapoints because Contrapoints totally like strawmanned Christopher Hitchens in a video. Like he poorly edited Hitch. Like he edited damn it. I was talking about the Contrapoints that I made the response video
That's
to.
true. In the past. You're talking
Which
about
was the he. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
This was back then when he made that video strawmanning Hitch. She would never do that because now she's nice and like we don't know men are scum. So.
Exactly.
Anyway, I don't want to commit a hate crime here, but that was pre-transition Contrapoints, yes. And okay. I met, well, I'm hesitant to say who I actually met there, but
say it. Drop.
I said hello. I said hello to Contrapoints. So.
Yes. Oh, okay. Wow, what a fantastic story.
Yes. Well, what'd you want? Like me? Like
got in a fist fight with Contrapoints.
Come on. Oh, I thought you were going in the other direction, but okay, Quinton.
You're terrible.
I didn't see you there, Quinton. I didn't see you talking to Contrapoints.
You're terrible.
It's funny to think that when I first went to VidCon years and years and years ago, I was an anti-SJW grifter living in my mother's basement, dreaming of flying off to California to go ahead and meet my fellow skeptics.
So, as you said, this was 2 years ago. This wasn't years ago. This was 2 years ago. And Quinton was never an anti-SJW YouTuber. He made videos about like TV shows and movies, and the only thing he made that was even remotely political that I remember was the iDubbbz video, which almost everyone was on iDubbbz's side.
iDubbbz used the N-word and people were on his side? Oh man.
Yes.
It was eons ago.
I know. Maybe this wasn't 2 years ago.
How times have changed. Yeah, no, I agree. His content was, I mean, he reviewed like food and stuff, right? I don't know. I never watched his content. So.
And if anything, meeting those people for real pushed me further away from them than anything else could. There's something about seeing a vast sea of pale, chubby YouTubers with beards born out of their lack of motivation to shave, and all of them wearing clothes which don't quite fit their bodies, which makes one question, why does my personal ideology seem to appeal almost exclusively to people who look like me, people who act like me, and most importantly, people who live like me?
Okay, how do you digest all that?
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, for some reason I couldn't pause. I made all those joking about how I never pause, and like, I wasn't actually
The universe
able to.
said, no, we take away your pause privilege.
I wonder if my computer's like chunky because I'm doing this deep fake.
You need to turn off the deep fakes while we're streaming, Adam.
No, I won't do
Everyone in the
it.
chat,
I don't
shame
need
Adam.
to pause.
Shame him.
Let us know if the audio is okay. I just want to say that I am right now wearing a tailored suit that this was taken in, fits perfectly.
Oh, I see.
So I don't want to, yeah. And I'm doing pretty good. I wouldn't consider myself chubby. So, I mean,
No,
he's
you're
got me on
skinny. What
the
are you talking
shaving.
about?
Yeah, he's got me on the shaving thing. I really am. not
Your
gonna do-
facial hair looks good. Adam is a beautiful man. Don't listen to him.
But I
He's a
do
beautiful
shave my
man.
neck. You know, I don't want to be
There
a
you
neck
go.
beard. So sorry,
Well, I mean,
Quentin.
it's hypocritical. Look at him. Like, how is he talking about people's facial hair? See,
What's up
it
with the
wasn't an ad
glasses?
hom. It was an important point, Adam.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but okay. So wait, here's why what he just said is really disgusting. Okay, because if you go on Quinton's channel, he probably still has it up. The video he made after his first VidCon experience, he talks about how he was very nervous. He had all these social anxieties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he goes to VidCon and he's wandering around. And he feels very out of place and he's like doesn't feel comfortable there. And then all of a sudden, someone slaps him on the back and greets him, and suddenly Quinton feels accepted, warmly, and comfortable. And you know who it was that did this for Quinton?
Yeah, because I was there.
It was Armored Skeptic. And
Right.
Armored Skeptic, who saw Quinton's videos and liked them, just went up and was friendly with him and accepted him into the group. And Quinton talks about how after that, the experience was so much better and he got to hang out with the horrible anti-SJWs. Though, of course, at the time, he was all pretending to be their friends. Okay? So it's so disgusting to me that he had this experience where it was so negative until he meets Greg. And suddenly it becomes a positive experience. And then now, 2 years later, he's trying to get in with, the woke crowd. So he fucking backstabs all these people that were friendly to him.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is. That's the definition of a clout chaser. Just climbing the corpses of people that you don't give a shit about. Oh, these people help me. I like these people. Now fuck them. I gotta climb over them now. It's so disgusting to me.
That clout chaser term's a really good term. I like that. Yeah, you don't want to be a clout chaser. Come on.
No.
You want to be You want to help people, and also it's like loyalty. Where do the progressive score on loyalty according to Jonathan Haidt's Moral Foundation?
It's -20.
It's like very low. Yeah, very low. Like if you think about it, like they turn on each other all the time. It's like, you're canceled. This is how cancel culture gets going. Like, no giving people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a bad day. So, no. You're
Well,
canceled.
you see, it's interesting. It's kind of like any authoritarian regime where you can move up in society by policing other people.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're always looking out, to bring others down, to kill them, basically, in a metaphorical sense. So, and also it's ridiculous too because Quinton says, "Oh, I met all these terrible anti-SJWs who were friendly with me. They didn't have to be. They were totally friendly and accepting of me. I met them, and they were all a bunch of fat, straight white males." Which is like, okay, so if you've seen the IHOP picture, okay, who was there? You had Chris Raygun was there. You had Shoe on Head was there. You had Bunty King was there.
Derek was there.
Yeah, Derek. That's right. Derek was there. And then even that was the VidCon where Sargon made up with Lacey Green.
Yeah.
And so it's like
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was so beautiful. It's so disingenuous to frame this like, oh, it's just a bunch of straight white basement dwellers,
Yeah. Not at all.
It's so disgusting to me. And I'm not biased by the fact that I had a negative interaction with Quinton at the VidCon that I was at. So.
Didn't he ask us if we wanted his autograph or something like that? We were like, no, we're just hanging out. I believe
Okay.
that happened, and it was a bit weird.
No. Okay, so what happened was, I guess here we'll say the story real quick. Okay, what happened was the first day of VidCon, Quinton was there, and he was hanging out where all the anti-SJWs were hanging out too. Okay,
Yeah.
so he can spare me the whole, oh, I don't like these people. And I went over, I talked to him because I was like, this was before he went woke, so I liked some of his videos. And after I had a very brief conversation with him, he asked if we wanted, if I guess you were there too. He asked if we wanted a picture with him, and I said no because I don't want anyone to know what I look like.
I said no, thank you.
Okay. Well, I said no, I don't want anyone to know what I look like. So, but then the next day, I saw him again before anyone else showed up. I saw him, so I started talking to him, and I told him this is so gross. I told him what my YouTube channel was. So while we're talking, he's looking on his phone for my YouTube channel, and he sees it, and I guess this is while he was becoming woke on the inside. I guess he saw the kind of content I made and was disgusted by it, but he didn't want to tell me. So while I'm in the middle of talking. So while I'm in the middle of talking to him, after he sees what kind of content I make, he just turns his face and starts talking to someone else right in front of me.
Really?
Doesn't say anything. Yeah, and I was shocked. I was like, what the fuck? And this was before he came out as woke, so I didn't understand what just happened. I was like, what the fuck? Why do you just diss me like that?
No, I think he looked at your subscriber count and he was like, oh, this guy's nobody. Fuck this guy. He was like,
no,
I can't chase the clout here. There's no clout to be chased.
Well, no, because he was perfectly fine talking with me before he knew I was a YouTuber.
Oh yeah, because he wanted us to be his fans.
I guess that's true. He wanted a picture, but so it was so disgusting that he just like no one's ever done anything that rude to me. I know it's a small and petty thing, but it was very rude. So I was like, fuck this guy.
I had that weird moment with him. Like we made eye contact. Like he thought I was like a fan of his or something, and I'm like, no, I'm just hanging out. I'm just here to chill, dude.
Okay, anyway, let's continue our petty attacks on Quinton.
Your petty attacks. I'm not making attacks.
Our full attacks full of logic.
The realistic background of my beliefs was that they were born.
Speaking of background,
boy, we made it a second. Holy cow!
So, someone in the comments of his video said, "You're talking about how much you love Contrapoints, and yet you didn't learn to iron your background sheets." I know it's a point Adam always loves to bring up. So just thought
I do love that. That one atheist guy never irons his background.
Never irons.
It's so bad because it's supposed to be a wood wall. Like the sheet looks like a wood wall.
Who are you talking about?
I can't remember his name.
Rat Rules?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
There you go.
From a lack of context of the outside world. I lived in a basement. I spent all my time making slightly edgy movie reviews.
So you're complaining that I'm being ad hominem.
He almost made one point. He almost made one point.
We almost made a full second. You're complaining that I made ad hominem. His whole opening is an ad hominem. He's saying anti-SJWs only feel the way they do because they're straight, white, fat basement dwellers.
No, I'm not complaining, dude. You beat this guy up, dude. You beat him to a pulp.
Okay.
I love it.
I just want to make sure.
You get out. Look, he already busted his glasses, Sitch. Jesus Christ. This guy's on the way out.
For YouTube, and I rarely ever talk to anyone other than myself. Going to VidCon made me look at people and say, you're real. I have to talk to you like you're real, and I have to work to understand you like you're a real person.
Remember when after that first VidCon, you're gonna laugh every time I pause it.
No, I'm just laughing because he turned away from you. Like he's like, except for Sitch. He's like, I don't have to treat him like he's a real person.
I could treat him like a piece of shit. Yeah, exactly. But no, remember after the first VidCon, how a lot of the anti-SJW YouTubers had met with like Francesca Ramsey and some of the other SJW YouTubers.
Yes.
And like there was like this weird, like they felt like they were going to be kind of friendly with each other.
Yep.
And like they were saying kind of what Quinton was saying, where like, oh, they're meeting these people as people and things seem like they're going to get better. And then what happened was Francesca Ramsey totally stabbed Armor Skeptic and Andy Worski in the back.
Yeah. So. Give the full story. You're leaving out all the good stuff. So
okay, so the quick rundown is basically Armored Skeptic and Andy Worski had become friendly-ish with Francesca Ramsey privately, and they've been having these DMs back and forth about trying to, create a constructive dialogue between them. And then it turns out Francesca Ramsey, who I guess is a moron, okay, has her own podcast, who I guess she thought no one was listening to, because then on her own podcast, she goes and talks so much shit about Armored Skeptic and Andy Worski and about how they're stupid and how she's just like using them and trying to manipulate them. And obviously they find out. And it turns out that, she was trying to like sway. This is hilarious. Armored Skeptic made a whole video about this. She was trying to sway him to like the dark side by saying like, oh, if you stop being anti-SJW, maybe I can get you on MTV and, blah, 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 and all this other nonsense. So she broke the truce. It was all Francesca Ramsey's fault.
Although I could totally see Greg and Shu on MTV as like a reality show. I could totally see
that.
It was
a reality show.
Like that would totally fit their demo.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It made modern social issues a lot more legitimate to me and made me care a lot more about the real world, and thus made all of the petty nonsense that I was seeing going on in my own community feel a lot less worthy of my time. And it was because of VidCon last year that I met.
So just because Quinton lacks the ability to empathize with people until he meets them, he assumes everyone else is as emotionally fragile and stupid as he is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see us as being petty. Like even Sargon, Sargon's not petty. What are you talking about?
Well, when he says petty, that's code. He's saying like, oh, they're complaining about college, they're the Ezra Klein defense. They're complaining about college kids, while there's like real problems out there in the world.
Yeah. They just want to minimize the problem. They want to make the problem seem smaller than it really is.
Right.
Yeah.
Natalie Wynn at the Cheesecake Factory, and having absolutely no idea who she was, I decided to go home and binge a bunch of her channels.
See? Met a YouTuber and said, oh, she's got a lot of subscribers.
Exactly. That's why he didn't watch any of your content, dude. He looked at your subscriber count and he's like, he's like, screw this guy. You kidding? Look at that avatar. It looks scary. I'm out of here.
It's funny, like when before this incident, when I followed Quinton on Twitter, it was so obvious that he had a crush on Jenny Nicholson. And
oh, really?
Like, yeah, like, on Twitter when there's like a guy who's responding to a girl and it's like, these are some thirsty responses. Like it's not super, like he's not saying it flat out, but it's there. The subtext is like so apparent, and you're like, oh, this is embarrassing. It's so cringy.
And I think no other person has more influenced not only the sort of content I want to make, but also the person I want to strive to be. Contrapoints.
Quinton's transitioning.
Yeah, just transitioned. It's not hard.
Is the only YouTuber. All other YouTubers are canceled. As far as I'm concerned...
Did you hear that? We're all canceled.
We're canceled? Oh, shit. Gotta go, guys.
We're out of here. The only YouTuber. A white girl. Wow, how privileged of him. He's canceling all these poor minorities.
Goodness. Yeah.
Concerned, she is the most subscribed to personality literally everywhere because no one else on the internet exists. She is our dark queen, our glorious mother and comrade. All hail Contrapoints, for she shall lead us out of darkness.
That's comedy, right?
Oh
my God.
Is that comedy, or is that just the way he really feels?
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that cringe? It's just, oh.
Well, my question is somebody laughing at this? Because I always think, a lot of times, things that other people find funny, I do find very cringeworthy. So, like, is there any audience for this? Sometimes
I mean, people are laughing because it's cringy.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's laughing legitimately.
Yeah, but it's attempted comedy, right?
Attempted, yes. In big quotes, attempted.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
So for those of you who have yet to experience the spiritual enlightenment that is a
It's Jordan.
Contrapoints binge, allow me to fill you in.
That Jordan Peterson video was like, that's like her worst video.
Yeah, everyone wants us to review it, and we're like,
Didn't we? I thought we did review it.
Did we? No, we didn't review it.
I could have
Come
swore we did.
on. We're on episode 44, guys. I don't know. They all blur together now.
Yes, so somebody remind. I could have swore I have a very clear memory of watching that video with you and being like, "Wow, Contra's just not making any points."
Maybe we did.
Natalie Wynn is a leftist content creator who discusses issues in the world and online. Now, usually when I talk about content creators I like or dislike, I look at sort of an evolution of their content.
What?
I can't pause. I don't know why I can't pause. Maybe I should
just reload the watch together.
reload the window. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you have on the wall there? I noticed. Looks like Quentin's on your side.
What do you have on the wall?
The graphic novel.
Content creator who discusses issues in the world and online.
Better not be
now, usually
You're a. Oh my god.
He's on your side.
No. No.
Sitch,
Cruel
don't
twist of
slash
irony.
your your wrist. Don't take your own life.
No. Oh my god, I'm gonna pull an Epstein.
It couldn't be helped, man. I had to notice.
For those
It's the writer in me.
Oh my god, I didn't even know. For those that can't see, he has, for some reason, I don't remember what video this is. He's got a bunch of panels of the Watchmen graphic novel all behind him.
Yeah.
I bet he doesn't even like the squid. I bet he doesn't even like the squid. That's the saving grace. He probably likes the movie better.
What if we can get him to debate you?
Oh my god.
Usually when I talk about content creators I like or dislike, I look at sort of an evolution of their content from start to finish. But because some of Natalie's content is constructed to be a point of discovery and other videos are more intense and insighty, it's probably best to study her instead in the order that you would be recommended.
No, see, he just doesn't want to look at her old videos before they transition, because,
It's funny to think
isn't that considered transphobic
Maybe.
when you're like dead naming someone?
Are you still like a huge transphobe? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying Quinton is a huge transphobe. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Out of respect for Contra, I deleted all my old videos where she is a he.
I don't think it was out of respect.
Well, yeah, they all got demonetized.
I think that's why
I was trying to clean up my channel. Come
Let's
on.
be truthful here.
I was trying to be a nice guy, and you had to make.
Doing her.
Oh, look, I can pause now.
There you go. Look, this is the no spin stream, okay? Nothing but the truth.
Yes, exactly. No. I did get tired of getting comments from people that were like, "Oh my God, you're misgendering Contra. She's a female now. Her name is Natalie. You're such a dick." And I'm like, look at the date on the video, you stupid piece of shit.
Look, Adam, you have to go back in time and retroactively fix all your gender pronouns. Come on.
Yes.
One of the first Contrapoints videos I saw was her classic piece Incels, which analyzes the online movement of men who believe that they are celibate involuntarily.
Okay, so for two things. One, why is he suddenly recording his audio in like a bath?
Yeah, it's terrible audio. I don't know.
Like it's so echoey. And then the second thing is, actually, I was wrong. Well, I never finished. I couldn't literally not finish watching the Incels video because in the beginning of it, Contra says, "I'm not going to just insult and make fun of incels." And then and then I watched the first 10 minutes, and it's like nothing but Contra making fun of incels.
Yeah, it's so terrible because they're caught up in the "we hate men" thing, and they just can't empathize with men at all.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, it's her most viewed video. It's like a 2.9 million views or something.
Interesting.
Yeah. And this is my theory about it. Everyone likes to make fun of the people who are the lowest status person in society.
Yes.
And so who is the lowest status person you can always make fun? It used to be nerds, right?
Yes.
But you can't make fun of nerds anymore because nerd culture has become mainstream culture.
Right.
So who do you have left? Well, you have the straight white beta males who can't get laid.
Yep. Man.
Pathetic. Let's make fun of them.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's interesting because it's
awful.
pure evolution right there, isn't it?
Yeah. You chase
Pure
off all the
evolution
betas.
psychology.
More females for us. It's great.
Yeah, let's make fun of the people that who aren't going to be able to reproduce biologically.
Yeah.
And fulfill like the most basic natural drive.
Why wouldn't you want to kick people when they're down, Sitch? I mean, that seems very progressive to me.
Well, see, that's my whole problem with the whole SJWs. That's why I call them bullshit. Is because
Yeah, total bullshit.
they're bullies who want to bully they're bullies who want to bully people but feel justified about it. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't think I ever watched the incels video because I mean, I honestly feel sorry for the incels, and every time I say something like that, now I'm getting bullied. Like they perceive them as all misogynistic potential school shooters, and
Right.
it's not fun. It's
Well,
not funny.
there was a couple that was the problem. There's a couple that did commit crimes. There was
Yes. Yeah.
the famous kid that I forget his name that Mumkey Jones is always talking about that got him in
Yes.
trouble.
Yeah,
Elliott Rogers.
we don't even want to say his name anyway.
Oh, I just said his name, but
What was his name?
Elliott Rogers.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
And there was someone else too.
Elliot.
But yeah. But
Elliot.
The incel thing is so weird because it's so overblown. Like it's some tiny
yeah.
percent of people that identify as incels on the internet. It's like, and yet they get talked about so much, or they were for a time period, not so much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned it. I was watching some incel video. I think it was the Jesse Lee Peterson, the other Peterson, did a talk with an incel. That's an amazing talk. If anyone wants the inside scoop on incels, it's a good place to go. But I guess there's this, do you know this about, like they have
I
them
know
all,
everything.
do you know all the incel stuff? They have them all like
No.
categorized. Like
No.
what type of incel you are, like some are location incels. Like it's
Oh my
it's like
God.
this fascinating, crazy subculture. But I guess there's a lot of they have this weird theory, and I don't know if this is accurate, but it's interesting nonetheless. That because the Elliott Rogers his mom was Asian, right, and his dad was white.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a lot of Asian women like American or European men.
Okay.
Because Asian men look more feminine, so
Oh, you're so racist, Adam.
well, this is what the incels believe. I'm just paraphrasing here.
This is not you. This is not your opinion.
Well, I could see just as an artist myself, I could see where I mean, obviously, some Asian, so much of it comes down to your freaking jawline. It's so crazy, but I mean, a lot of Asians have rounder faces, so they have not a prominent jawline, and the jawline is where you see the masculinity at, but. So if you have a mom that likes, American or European features, she's married a European guy, you have a kid and the kid has Asian features, then they think that the mom is less, doesn't mother the baby as well, or because they don't like the look of the kid, basically. Yeah, which is, I mean, how shitty a life do you have if your mom just gives you the cold shoulder? I mean, it happens, but
Right, but I highly doubt. I mean, I don't know Elliott Rogers' story, but I highly doubt that mothers are not loving their children because they don't have strong enough jawlines.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting hypothesis, and I feel like these ideas propagate on the internet, and what a way to give every single, Asian with that situation, because there's a lot of Asian woman, European male. There's a lot of them out there. What a way to give every single one of those kids an inferiority complex, to have them like looking at their mom with some side eye going, does she love me enough? It's like all these psychoses just begin on the internet.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't know about like Asia as like a whole. All I knew was like the stereotype about like Japanese women and American men, and that I thought had nothing to do with the way they look. It had more to do with the fact that American men or Americans in general have a much more confrontational social strategy. So if you're like American in Japan, it's easier for you to go up to like a Japanese girl and just ask her out, where maybe a Japanese guy wouldn't be so forthcoming.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that as well. I have a friend of mine that actually lives in China, and he said like they just like the women just throw themselves at him.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
totally.
There you see. So you're
He's
saying
like,
all the
Adam, move
incels
to
just need
China.
move to Asia, is what you're saying.
Well, that's the location.
The entire continent of Asia.
They call this is what they call location incels. Like the guy who's talking to Jesse Lee Peterson is saying, I'm a location incel because I'm in Los Angeles, and if I was in a different place, I'm not that bad looking. I could probably get a girlfriend. But in Los Angeles, a lot of the girls are just they're gold diggers. They want money, and I'm like I can't compete here. But if I was in a different location, things might be different. If I was in China, like things might be looking up for me.
I think the incel community. Here's the problem. I think the incel community is like the flat Earth community. It's hard to know how much of it's real and how much of it is just troll.
Yeah, exactly. Online,
And I don't think people appreciate that when they talk about they talk about all this incel stuff like it's real.
Well, they want to use it to gain their own political power. So they want they're targeting them as an enemy that they can hold up and say, look, I'm defeating this enemy. You know, give me your attention.
Oh, you mean the woke people are attacking the incels?
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah, right.
Contra is making the video.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And are thus to some extent oppressed. The video is easily one of the best video essays of the decade, and arguably
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh at people. I'm supposed to laugh in people's faces.
Contrapoints' incel video is the best video in the entire decade of YouTube content.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with
though-
Social Justice Detective as the best video.
I'm gonna go with Game of Thrones videos.
Oh yeah. Just because you got 1 million views doesn't mean you sell out. You sell out.
But you could make an argument. I don't know if I would agree, but you could make an argument that people, not just males, but the people that don't reproduce or don't have the ability to reproduce, technically, biologically, are the least privileged people.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they're at the bottom. They're at the bottom of the privilege hierarchy.
Right,
They can't even
so,
have sex.
Yeah. So I don't know if I agree with this so-called oppression narrative he's pushing.
Yeah, me.
has done a lot
Me too.
to make
I
the art
didn't
form
want to say it. I
look
was
something
like-
that should
Me
be
too.
taken more seriously by mainstream resources. The reason that the incel video is so highly regarded and great is that she manages to cover it from two perspectives. The first is the obvious misogyny behind the movement, that it exists off of the pretense that a woman's single role in a man's life is as a sexual partner, and the active perception of various women in the movement are based entirely around
See, maybe this is another reason why they like to pick on incels so much. Is because like they can use incels as like, see, this is the perfect representation of all the misogyny we're talking about.
Yeah, he's totally strawmanning the incels argument too, because they don't just want to have sex with women; they want freaking girlfriends. Like,
Right. They want to be in a loving relationship, I would assume.
yeah, our economy. When the economy's bad, it's terrible on relationships. And housing crash 2008, people
There
getting
you go.
screwed. Yeah, it's like people putting off marriage. Marriage is expensive. You want
And
something.
it's not like they're criticizing what is it called, those people that do the hookup artist people.
Yes, totally. They deserve it. Go after those
Yes.
people. Those are the alphas. Of course they're sleeping with 6 girls a week. Like, why would you want to pick on those guys?
See, that's so interesting. Yeah, aren't they like they're so much worse than fucking
They're
incels.
horrible. Yeah, exactly. Where's
Yeah.
Contrapoints video on that? Oh, can't find it.
if they're fuckable, and why they wouldn't fuck the incels either way. But she also goes down a bit of another path, albeit with a bit more precaution, of trying to understand how so many men end up identifying with this movement. Obviously, she still demonizes those.
First of all, I don't. I think this is a total like red herring straw man. That there's like this wave of incels existing, at least in America.
Yeah, totally. And I'm just laughing because the men who identify with this movement, it's like, no, they're like, it's a tangible description of
Right.
their life. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, they're not looking for an ideology to find on the internet. They're like, dude, I want a girlfriend. I want to be in a relationship. I want to have a family someday. Oh, I can't. Like,
Right.
come on.
Well, also, probably a lot of this too is just because of the internet. Because now you can, like, before you might not have known, like, oh, everyone's hooking up but me. But now it's like, since everyone's posting all their
Oh, I
pictures on
know.
social media, it's like so
Yeah.
in your face.
Have you seen that one video? There's this
Which one?
video, like I can't remember the program, but they basically put like guys in a lineup and they have a bunch of women, like rating them, like not rating them, but saying, they're asking which ones they would date.
Mm-hmm.
and they put one short guy in there, and they give him like they keep piling on backstory, like he's a billionaire, like he owns his own yacht, he owns his own company, like he's a famous producer, right? None of the girls want to go for the short guy.
Oh no.
I know, it's just so glaring. So when Contrapoints, I haven't seen the incel video, but when people come out and say, okay, you know, these guys just need to shape up, you know, they need to learn how to idolize women and they're going to get a date. Fuck you. Like, just fuck off with that bullshit, because watch that video and tell me that. Like, you're burying your head in the sand. Like, elevator shoes will do better than getting your shit together. Like seriously.
Well, I don't know, because I think it's different between like having a lineup, so people are just judging based on looks versus interacting. Because I've always found in my life that it's not necessarily the most attractive person that gets like a lot of the girls. It's the most charismatic person.
Yes, I completely agree. I totally agree. The height thing is something. I mean, the thing to do is just to like look for shorter women. Like, you gotta,
it's funny. I didn't think about it, but now, because the person that I know that's the most charismatic person I've ever met, who would get all the girls, he was super tall too. I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's like hardwired. I think there's some gene in women that just makes them want to tilt their head up instead of down. Like, this little tilt in their head makes a huge impression on them.
Well, I mean, that's like the most base level protection instinct, you know, looking up versus looking down. So it makes sense.
It totally makes sense. But these people are ignoring a lot of evidence, and they don't want to help these people. They just, like you said in the beginning, they just want to make fun of them. That's all they want to do.
That's all they want to do.
Involved, because by all accounts she definitely should, but she still manages to put into context how so many people end up in that position. It's a message of, hey incels, the way you are is bad, and it's mostly your fault, but just because you are where you are doesn't mean you can't change. Indeed, a lot of the video is dedicated to discussing,
yeah, grow up. I mean, literally, like, get taller.
You know, it's hilarious because you could take everything Quinton says in this video, and I assume if he's portraying Contra's arguments correctly, and just reflect it back onto all the people complaining about racism and sexism, right?
Totally. It's the same thing. Like, I didn't ask to be born this tall. Are you kidding?
Because it's like, yeah, there are things, there are society in the world will treat you unfairly based on a lot of biological things about you, whether you're ugly or attractive or black or white or whatever. And so it's hilariously hypocritical for Contra and Quinton to complain about those incel white males saying, well, you could just change your personality, you could just make yourself better. But then at the same token, when it comes to people that are black or women or non-binary or whatever, and say, no. All your problems are not your fault. They're society's fault.
It would be interesting to see a study, and maybe they've done this, I don't know, but where they ask people, because the left has this idea that racism is just rampant, like everybody's a white supremacist. It would be an interesting study to ask people, let's say you could be twice as attractive as you are now. Would you change races to be twice as attractive? And I bet everybody would jump at that. Like, hell yeah, sign me up. I'll be black, no problem. Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good idea. You should conduct that study, Adam.
Being more attractive is everything. Are you kidding me? I don't think race is that big. Like, even if you were like whatever race you want to pick, if you're more attractive, I think you do better.
That would be, to me, that would be a better marker of, this is the problem. This is the way this evolved, because they would give people these questionnaires to try to determine whether they're racist. And then, you know, people stopped showing up as being racist according to these tests, because obviously society shifts and they're not going to, like, obviously
they're not going to admit it. Yeah,
they're not going to admit it. So then they shifted to these implicit bias tests, which I think are utter bullshit. Or basically what they do is they'll measure your reaction time, like how quickly you press a button or how quickly your eyes shift. And they'll be like, oh, well, you reacted positively by a 0.2 milliseconds faster to the white face than you did the black face. Therefore, that means you're racist. Like, that's where this all nonsense comes from.
When all they're measuring, though, is the what is it called? System 1 versus System 2, the intuitive system versus the logical system, because the
I
whole
wouldn't even say
idea.
it's intuitive. I would say it's complete reactionary.
Well, even if your intuitive system is a little racist, and there's an argument to be made that everybody's intuitive system is racist,
Yes.
your
Yes.
logical system overrides that. That's what society is for.
That's the whole point.
Yes, but it's impossible. Like, you are not incentivizing people to override that system when you're just calling everybody racist. They're like, okay,
Right.
well, I'm going to get called racist anyway. I might as well just let it ride.
Yeah, you have to give people something to work towards.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if their position is not only is everyone racist, but it's impossible to not be racist, then
Yeah.
why would you bother? Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's throw out the implicit bias test and replace them with would you
Yeah,
change your race
exactly.
to be more attractive test?
Something tells me that most people would. Maybe I'm wrong though. You never know until you gather the data. We got a
Yeah.
ton of super chats. I think maybe you should read some super chats.
All right, that's a good point. Hummer Eduardo Rodriguez Madrano for $5 says, thanks to Ben Shapiro and Crowder, the anti-SJW community started to become toxic, claiming something that was from the skeptic community. Is that true? I mean, I don't follow them enough to know. So
I don't either. I killed my deep
What?
fake, just so you know. I turned
Good,
it off
good.
for you. Yeah, I thought it might
Stop
be.
trying to make deep fake porn, Adam. We're streaming now. Now it's streaming time, not porn.
I just
time.
thought I could get one done. I thought I could get a quickie in. I guess not. I guess not.
God.
You'll have to wait till after the stream.
That's yes. I mean, I'm not a huge Ben Shapiro fan, and I don't think I've seen very many Crowder videos, so I'm fine blaming them. I'm totally fine with that. Alex Karras for $10 says, it's my roommate's birthday. Happy birthday, Jordan. Oh my God.
Happy birthday.
Your roommate's with Jordan Peterson. Happy birthday, Jordan Peterson. Matt Magnum for $5 says, been a while, Sitch and Adam. P.S. God Eater 3 is a great game to get memes from. It's like Monster Hunter, but with anime stuff and good story and jokes.
I
There
like
you go.
jokes.
Well, I mean, I would have to play that. Adam's a big boy adult. He doesn't play video games anymore, so he makes deep fakes. And that's what he does now.
That's my video game.
Hummer Eduardo Rodriguez Morano for another $5 says, also people like the quartering and other idiots don't help the label, overreacting to She-Ra lack of breast and going insane over Captain Marvel. I will agree that I do think that I like some of Jeremy's content, but I agree that he often plays things to death for views. But I think that's kind of that's what these people, anyone that makes like multiple daily videos, unfortunately, that's the only route you can go.
Yeah, he's killing it. Like, he's got to be just raking in the cash. So
yeah, he is probably killing it. But that's kind of why, that's part of the reason I stopped making the daily videos, is I just felt like the only way to succeed is to just look for outrage bait and just feed into that frenzy.
yeah, CTB Gray, CGB Gray,
CPG Gray, CGP Gray, whatever.
RGP Gray.
Yes, RGB Gray.
He has a great video on that about how ideas are contagious, and the most contagious ideas are anger.
Yes, ones that
fuel
make you angry.
Which is
Yes.
really sad, which is why our society is crumbling.
Well, Jordan Peterson just re-uploaded, I think, an old interview he did with Steven Pinker, and they were talking about how Steven Pinker is talking about how society and the world in general is so much better than it's ever been, and yet everyone thinks it's worse because the news is always pushing things that make us angry because they sell.
Yeah, they're driving us insane.
They're driving us insane. The Wooster for $4.99 says, point of personal privilege. He, him here. I suffer from several onset information overload. I would appreciate if you don't pause the video. I'm sorry.
No more pausing.
No more pause. And we can't laugh anymore. You have to wave our hands instead of laughing to denote
hands.
humor.
Our video killed it last week. You should let me decide what we're gonna watch from now on.
Okay. So so Adam's very happy because at the last second he wanted to do our last stream, which was on the Democrat Socialist meeting, and it has 22,000 views, which is a lot for our stream. So
yeah, definitely.
So fine. You know what, Adam? Well, I'll let you keep picking the topics until we get a stinker, and then you lose the privilege.
Most of those views are people complaining about us talking. I'm like,
It's true. It's
get
true.
the fuck off our channel.
It's true.
Like,
It's a 4-hour stream. I don't know if people.
exactly.
If you, I mean, if you want to watch the thing on its entirety, you can just watch it by itself.
It's probably on BitChute. Someone's
Yeah.
uploaded it.
Taylor Ramirez for $2 says, "Time to destroy the professional bridge burner."
Oh yeah.
And Quinton's stupid too, because it's like you shouldn't burn the bridge down until you know you actually have another bridge to stand on. And that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's
good
trying to
point.
burn the bridge down to signal to the other people on the other bridge that he's on their side, but they don't want anything to do with him. And you
No.
know why they don't want anything to do with him?
He's an incel.
Because exactly. Because he's a low hierarchy, straight white beta male.
Yep.
That's why.
You're the wrong color, Quinton.
Yep. Sorry. Patrick Meredith for $14.99 says, "So now that Quinton is a communist, he's still an ugly fat slob grifting, living in his mother's basement."
Quinton would take that right up, like change race and be twice as attractive. Like that's a win-win for him. Like
Do that
he's
in
in,
a fucking heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
he's in the bread tube then.
Yeah. Yep. Matt Magna for $2 says, 1 minute of video for 30 minutes of a stream. 1010 GG. You are correct, Matt. That's how we roll here. Okay.
I have not paused once. No, I think I did pause once.
You paused a couple of times. Delove Doctor 69 all day for $5 says, unrelated, but the audio is really awful in Quinton's video. It is so bad.
Yeah,
It is
it
so
is.
terrible.
That's why we're trying to talk to you. Our audio's great.
Yeah, you don't want to hear Quinton's fucking, "It's Quinton Reviews here in his bathroom." It's weird because in the beginning, I don't think the audio was bad. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's like he was watching the Contra video and he was recording with his laptop mic, but it was like it was like 20 feet away from him.
I think it's art. I think he's going for
Okay.
art, to be
There you
honest
go.
with you.
There you go. Bad audio. I'm gonna throw some shade. He's pulling the shoe on the head. It's an artistic
Yeah.
choice to film on my potato camera.
Medicare too.
That's true. He does do that on purpose, and it is very annoying. I hate it. Also, keep in mind that Quinton lies about EFAP, etc., and he's not good at being honest. That's true. He got into this big spat with Mahler where it was so dumb.
Really?
It was like he made this video that was this big defense of Last Jedi, and it was so terrible and so lame. I know.
What?
I know. See, if you didn't not like Quinton already, he defended.
Well,
the
now I
Last
hate
Jedi.
his guts. Are you kidding me? That
Yeah.
was the worst movie ever. Like
Yep.
I don't judge movies on their SJW cred. It's like, come on, it's got to be a good story.
Yeah, the writing is garbage.
Yeah, the
That's the
writing is
problem.
garbage. Exactly. Like
Like
well,
his video, he's like, "Oh, the music's so good and the cinematography is so good." And it's like, okay, but the story, Quinton.
Into the Spider-Verse is SJW done right, man. That story's phenomenal.
I wouldn't-
every respect. No, you're gonna love it.
No. First of all, I do love it, and
Yeah.
that's my next video is about Into the Spider.
Oh, really? Oh man,
Yes.
I love that.
Hopefully, it'll
movie.
come out this week. But I don't. It's not fair to categorize it as SJW done right. It's fair to categorize it as inclusion done right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Alexander Dresna for $2 Canadian says, "Quinton faps the Contra, no doubt." Okay, I'm not
No.
gonna comment.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, but no comment.
I don't doubt it. Or I think he thinks Contra's the way to get into the heart of Jenny Nicholson. That's my theory here.
Jenny Nicholson. He's got the hots for, huh?
He's got the hots for Jenny Nicholson.
How tall
primary-
is Quinton? I can't remember. I think he's taller than me. So I mean, he's got the
Quinton?
height thing
No, he's
going.
not. What are you talking about?
Really? Quinton
You're a
Reviews.
tall guy, aren't you?
I'm like
I thought you were
5'10".
tall.
I'm like 5'10", but he seems like he's got an inch on me or something.
Oh, you're right. He is a little. He's. It's funny because you see his videos and you don't expect him to be tall because he has such terrible posture.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Alexander Dresna for. Oh no, I did that one. Primary Senpai for 5 Aussie says, "Tell me about Sitch. Why does he wear the mask? Cox hammer. A lot of loyalty for a hired gun." There you go.
Yeah.
I just insulted the Dark Knight on Twitter. So maybe that's where that comes from.
I've been trying to get Sitch to do his face reveal, but he's stubborn. He's one of these stubborn people.
I'll do my face reveal when I publish my book and you all buy it. How about that?
Nice. Send me a
There you
copy.
There you go. You can get one for free. Everyone else got to pay.
Cool.
Exploding Printy for $2 says glass the ink cells. Look, Exploding Printy, we do not support, okay, this horrible statement of violence. Please. Okay. I disavow completely. We will not glass the ink cells, okay? Patrick Meredith for $4.99 says, "Hey, poor people, it sucks that you are poor, but it's mostly your fault. Stop with all the socialism." Quinton, maybe.
Internet historian is saying Quinton is 6'2". There's no freaking excuse then, dude.
There you go.
Hit the gym. Fucking
Hit
shave.
the gym. Hit the gym and actual shave. Don't do that. He can't do this double. He's got to shave.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point. You could. It's funny because if Contra's argument for the incels is it's all your fault, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean, that's the conservative argument for being poor.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Taylor Ramirez for $2 says, "People will never vote for a short president."
True. Very true. Yeah.
Have we ever? Because I know the internet myth is that the tallest president always wins. Tallest candidate always wins, and I don't know if that's been broken yet.
Yeah. George W. Bush was a shorty.
No, he wasn't. He was like 6 something.
Really? No.
Yeah.
He's shorter.
I think John Kerry was taller than him, though.
John Kerry
So
definitely was taller than him. Yeah, but
so maybe it's broken. Randall DeSong for $10 says, "My favorite part of the anti-incels is how they ignore those that can't physically have sex due to some disability. Like
Yeah.
it's literally the most ableist standpoint I've ever seen." That's a
Yes.
fantastic point. I didn't even think about that.
Anti-incel is ableist. Big time.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah.
Again, it's still acceptable for society to pick on low-tier beta males.
Yeah.
It's just evolution at work. That's all that's happening. Hallucinate for $5 says, "Yang needs to advocate for a firewall against AI tech to stop them from taking her jobs." What did you think of him crying? I heard of it because I listened to Sky Adams today and he talked about it, but I didn't see it. Yang apparently cried about someone. He was talking to a mother who lost a child or something in El Paso, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him crying as long as it was legitimate and it wasn't fake. I don't have a problem with anyone crying.
Yeah, I don't either.
So
Yeah.
Matt Magnum for $2 says, "That 1010 was legit. Love the way you two roll." Thank you very much, Matt. And we love the way you give us money.
What was 1010?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
That was 30 minutes ago when we paused the video. Go on.
Seeing how incel culture is based around telling men in the movement that they will never find companionship or happiness because they are too ugly for anyone to ever want to be with. Her point is, universally, these men do have the capabilities of finding what they want if they just change their personalities.
See, again, I couldn't watch the whole video because the first 10 minutes of it was just Contra making fun of incels. So it's very disingenuous to say, well, at the end of it, Contra's trying to give a positive message to the incels. It's like, sorry, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. We're bleeding hearts, man. We're disaffected liberals here.
Exactly.
We don't want to see anyone be made fun of. Like the idea that they're such sanctimonious pieces of shit. Like if they, but I mean, they're picking on like low status people. I don't
Right.
like.
We don't want to make fun
completely
of any
hypocritical.
group of people. We want to make fun of individuals.
Yeah, well, we don't mind making fun of people like when they deserve it. Obviously, you got to have some sort of way of curbing their behavior, but like have some empathy.
Exactly. I mean,
like what is also what like the punishment's got to fit the crime, guys. Like seriously, some guys can't get laid, and they're posting memes on some message board. Like what's the crime here? Like what's the crime against humanity? Like some
Adam,
poor
don't
woman
you
is going
to. They're promoting a culture of toxic masculinity and misogyny. Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think you got to pick your battles, guys. Come on.
Well, that's because you actually want to be empathetic and liberal for the right reasons. Because as you said, we're bleeding hearts. We actually care about people that are in bad situations.
I've grown up with people who are basically incels before incel had a name. Like you always feel sorry for that guy because he wants a girlfriend.
Right.
Some guys have it more difficult than others. We weren't out there making fun of them. Okay, we were empathizing with their plight.
It's funny because it's like for so many years in Hollywood, it was, oh, the jocks are always the bad guys and the nerds are always like the good guys. And now it's kind of not, it hasn't reached Hollywood yet, but with the SJW culture, they're kind of trying to go back to like, oh, we're the jocks now making fun of the nerds again.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It really is. But all the
Enough to be
jocks are
approachable.
trans. It's funny now.
As long as the nerds are white, and don't agree with their values, then it's okay to make fun of them.
But isn't Contra kind of in the jock role here? It's just.
I mean, she is now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Is like, I mean, I don't know, like what Contra's love life was like before she transitioned, but it's kind of hilarious for someone who has a very successful YouTube channel to like complain about people in low status, like
I know.
life,
Talk
and
about
be like,
punching
just
down.
pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
Talk about not only that, Contra is about like 6'2" or something like that. Contra's completely tall. I mean, good looking as a male, good looking as a female. Like this guy isn't. This guy, girl, all throughout the stages of the successful YouTube career, not wanting for a date. Like, let's be honest here. Seriously.
I mean, definitely not anymore.
You think Contra, but ever, even
don't know.
before transition, do you think Contra ever had problems getting a date? I don't think so. Like, this is it's just not fun, not funny. Yeah.
It's true.
In social groups, and the community standard of disputing this and saying that every single virgin in America has some certain quality about their physical appearance which is unchangeable and will thus make them alone forever and ever.
It's hilarious that the whole reason of people that are incels like making this argument that there's some physical thing about them they can't change. It's to make themselves feel better about their situation because they want to say it's not my fault. There's some injustice that I can't control that's putting me down, bringing me in this bad situation. That's literally the SJW argument.
Yeah.
About racism and sexism.
Yeah. But you got like the first thing to go out the window is like logic, reason, evidence.
True,
It's like, oh, I'm a hypocrite. Oh, come on. We're having fun here. We're making
consistency.
Fun of
No.
Yeah.
No one cares about consistency of principles and ideas.
Yeah, they don't.
Only makes it less likely that they'll ever get around to becoming self-actualized.
How can Quinton not feel sorry for these guys? Like in the video, the guy with his head in his hands, like the kid going, I wish I had a girlfriend.
Because he's a clout chaser.
So he's just doing it because this is what he has to do. He's like the mean guard that they put the gun in his hand and say, you got to kill one of these people, right?
You have to kill one of it. He's like was it like the prisoner becomes the trustee?
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunately because of biology and evolution, one of the easiest ways to climb any social hierarchy is to tear someone else down and say, let's all laugh at this guy who sucks.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
Here, what we're doing?
No. Well, I mean, sort of. That's true. That is true. That's true. But here's the thing.
Can't escape
It's okay for us to bully the bully. Oh, there's the rationalization.
Yeah. They talk about that all the time. Like the social justice advocates have a really bad theory on toxic masculinity because you want a certain amount of toxic masculinity in society. You just want to aim it in the right direction.
Well, I mean, it depends how you define toxic masculinity. So.
Well, I'm talking about the people who are going to run into burning buildings and save lives. Like, you want that.
Right. But you wouldn't, I don't know, because I think they specifically like define toxic masculinity in such a way that like it wouldn't make sense with what you're saying.
Really?
Yeah, because they frame it completely as only negative. So they'd say like, oh, the guy that heroically runs into a building without regard for his own safety, they wouldn't label that as toxic masculinity.
You want to teach kids, like you want to teach the bully not to be a bully. You want to teach him to be well, I hate to say cop, but that's really what you want. Like you want the bully to bully other bullies. You want the bully to be
Well, I don't agree with that because I think we should try to breed out that behavior societally. I know it's like
need a certain
impossible,
level.
but...
You need a certain level of violence, though. You need a certain level
right.
of violence. Yeah.
I don't disagree.
You need police, right?
Right.
You need people who are not only you need people who are enthusiastic about getting in a fight because sometimes you need
No, I agree, but the problem with the bully mentality is that I don't think that's a good mentality. I think what's a good mentality is justice and order. Because when you have the bully mentality, that's why you have the cops that abuse their power, because that's what they're looking for. They're just looking for that feeling.
There's a certain percentage of men though that get a high off of like starting a fight.
Of course.
That's never going to go away.
Probably not, but I don't think that's
so we agree there.
Right.
But the idea behind the feminist theory is that no, it will go away. But society collapses when that because maybe it goes away here, but it's not going to go away at the nation next door, and then the next thing you know, their bullies are coming in and taking over.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, like the whole idea behind toxic masculinity is ludicrous because you need that society. You're taking something that's necessary to make society work, and you're saying that we can't have that necessary thing.
Yes, as internet historians said in the chat, we should bully everyone equally. There you go. That's what,
Okay.
we're really just for being equal. That's what we're here. Here at Adam and Sitch, we want to bully everyone equally.
Yeah.
And thus, they'll probably never pop the cherry. I promise you this entire video isn't just going to be me restating Natalie's opinion.
See, it's funny that he uses this slide as like, oh, this is proof of how terrible it is. But if you actually, if you read this, it's not. It's obvious that these people don't just want like meaningless sex. They want some sort of a connection with someone.
They want girlfriends.
Yeah.
They want enforced monogamy.
There it is.
Opinions, but in a less interesting way.
See, but here's a problem. I'm pausing again. Here's the problem. You have someone like Jordan Peterson come out, and he's kind of, you would say, a person who's trying to help incels to some degree, other people too, but also incels become better people, and they all hate him for it.
Yeah. Jordan Peterson is just the avatar for rationality. Like he says, okay,
Right.
You're low status. He's like, you're low status in the looks department. Thank goodness you live in a society where you can raise your status in another department, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and like I said, if you're the short guy in the experiment that, all the girls are looking down on him, they brought the wrong girls into the experiment. You need to get the shorties in there. You look for a girl that's 4 foot even, right? All they want is to look up at you.
Well, also, it probably has a lot to do with age too, because I'm sure if you had, older women, not like old women, but like older women, and they had like, oh, here's the attractive guy who has no job, and here's the short guy who's like a millionaire. I think they're gonna go with the millionaire.
No, they're gonna go with the guy with.
I don't agree.
No.
I think women get to a certain age and they're kind of like their priorities tend to start to shift.
Women, we'll never know. It's complete black box.
Yes, women, that alien species from another world we just can't understand. It's impenetrable.
But I think it's generally important to point out how her videos are often made with deeper points that no one really asks her to include, which I think is a mark of her content which makes her a lot more interesting than other channels.
You're right. No one else on YouTube makes videos that have deeper points in them.
That have substance or anything. No. Never happens.
Maybe that's why he's echoing so much. Like the deepness of his points are resonating. That's how deep they are. He's in a cave when he's recording this.
Also, it's pretty important that in this part of the video that I discuss her content as much as I can, because in part 2, I'm mostly going to be talking about YouTube trends and the algorithm and stuff like that, and it might seem like I've forgotten about her for a bit. Out of all the topics that Natalie has covered in her series, the most well-known of these has almost certainly been her discussions of the LGBTQ community. Many of these videos just scratch the surface in a way which will likely appeal to people who don't have many resources to be told about these things openly, but she's been known for taking deep dives into the psychology of many involved with these communities.
You know, here's part of the problem I have with a lot of Contra videos. She purposely, I've talked about this before, she purposely words things in a way to give herself so much cover that it's like, oh, if you ever try to criticize a point, she can just say, oh, you're strawmanning me. I didn't say that because I gave myself like 10 yards of cover to protect myself. And in a lot of her videos, they don't actually reach conclusions whatsoever. They're just very open-ended.
Yeah.
So, and that's why some people like it, I guess, because they can project their own meaning into the video. But then it's like, okay, well, how can I criticize your point if your point is, vague and wispy and not something I can grab onto?
Yeah, no real argument. Nothing of substance. It's so ironic that we have Quinton here telling us how deep they are.
Outside of this, Natalie's content often focuses on the rise of white supremacist and general fascist culture online and in the real world. One of her characters, which she's...
Okay, so far Quinton has said Contra's big video is incels. No. Contra's big videos are on LGBT. No. Contra's big videos are on the alt-right.
Yeah.
I
heard a great line about the... Some conservative on Twitter was saying conservatives take out their own trash, and that just completely rang true to me.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay, convince me otherwise, because I don't see the left taking out their own trash at all.
The left,
I agree that
the left
using
doesn't.
Their trash.
The left. Here's the thing: the left doesn't take out its own trash at all, even slightly.
Right.
But the right does a little bit because, in America anyway, there's been a history of racism and things and sexism and all that stuff. So people on the right have to make an effort to disavow themselves from that.
Right.
But since we haven't ever had, like a big communist revolution or anything in America, we never had. I mean, this is the first time I think that we've ever had mainstream left kind of go crazy.
Yeah.
So people on the left don't have a history to draw upon, to have a need to distance themselves from the craziness on their own side.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't know that's what that debate was with Jordan Peterson, is when the left can go too far. How do we delineate it? We want some tangible thing that we can point out and say, look, they're doing the thing, they're doing it.
Well, according to Michael Eric Dyson and What's-Her-Face, the answer is the left can never go too far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Throw him in the stockade.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson was for enforced monogamy. I mean, come on. He's obviously sexist.
Yes.
The Nazi, who is, well, a Nazi. The joke of her character is that despite clearly being a fascist and even dressing up like one, many of the characters on the show outright refuse to admit that she is alt-right. Where the character comes too close to home is when she will end up actually quoting modern white supremacist rhetoric word for word, petitioning for a white homeland and claiming that representation is oppression against white people, while
there's very few people that will not call out someone asking for a white homeland as racist. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who these people are, except for other people that are racist and don't want to admit it.
Well, there's a lot of conflation on the left too. If you say anything about immigration, all of a sudden you want to have ethno state. It's Jesus Christ, come on.
There was this great video that I was going to tweet out, but I forgot, by the channel is Visual Politics, I think, and they talked about how Mexico refuses to take immigrants from other Central and South American countries.
Oh, really?
And how Mexico's population, it's funny, he's saying Mexico has more Americans living in their country than they do other Central and South American.
Really?
Because they're racist against them.
That's funny.
Or no, I don't know if it's because they're racist or just because Mexico has a lot, it has very strict immigration policy. And as with most things, it's not, the race thing gets confused, I think, by even people that are anti-immigration, but it's really a financial thing. They just don't want poor people immigrating in their country. Yeah.
And also the left knocks the legs out from under their argument when they talk about this, they're against cultural assimilation. I don't think people have, we don't care what color your skin is, but come in and become part of our culture. Don't blame us for stealing your culture. with cultural appropriation and, you know, learn the language.
Right. I mean, that's what. This is. We got to go back to the '90s, Adam. Everything was better
Yeah.
in the
It was.
in the '90s and the early 2000s, where liberals were totally in favor of assimilation, and now that's racism.
And I was
That's
young
cultural
and cool.
genocide.
I think you were a baby.
Yep.
Oh, baby Sitch. I remember.
Baby Sitch.
I remember what I was going to do.
No, baby Sitch.
Centrist characters refuse to decry this as Nazism because when the character is asked if she's a Nazi, she says,
Nein! I mean, no, of course not.
Through this, Natalie criticizes not just extremists, but those who stand next to them and pretend like they aren't a part of what's wrong. Specifically, her fake show, The Freedom Report.
Okay, so this is so disingenuous. This whole thing about like, oh, these terrible centrists who refuse to point out the Nazis. It's like, okay,
Yep.
well, some of those people aren't Nazis, so maybe that's the problem. You know?
Yeah, sorry that we aren't going to turn them in because you're conflating their behavior.
To put you guys in perspective, Quinton's video, I think it was either before this one or right after this one, was Quinton insulting and making fun of Philip DeFranco by saying that he's too centrist. and
Really?
takes, you know,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
he dresses up like Philip DeFranco and does like a fake show, and he's like, and the story is like a guy who killed or stabbed babies. And he's like, as Philip DeFranco, he's like, well, I can't really see which side of the argument is bad for the baby stabber.
Man,
So
it's like Civil War for views. Like,
Yes.
are you willing to go for rioting in the streets for views? Come on, these people are nuts. I can't. This is crazy.
when you're attacking Philly D for being like too much and too political in one direction or the other, I think you have. I think you need to reassess your values.
Report is an overt parody of Dave Rubin's The Dave Rubin Report, which Natalie rightfully criticizes for featuring extremist talking points without having on guests who would then challenge those points, such as herself. But out of all
If Dave Rubin didn't exist and wasn't in the intellectual dark web, like 99% of the criticism against it would go away.
It's so funny too that the argument is literally you're doing things wrong because you aren't increasing my status. It's like it's such a self-serving argument.
Right.
all the characters that Natalie has envisioned for her show, perhaps the most fascinating is Tabby, a representation of Natalie's issues with how the left tends to present itself.
Death to capitalism! Hail Satan!
Now, I feel like I'm in a weird position with this character, where I know that she was intended to mock the public image that the left often has, and yet I unironically love everything about her.
What does that tell you? When Quinton's like, I like the over-the-top, hyperbolic, like negative view of leftism that Contra is portraying. I unironically love this.
Yeah, it's romantic. He wants to be that character. He's like, I know I'm not, this is supposed to be a parody of who I really am, but this is who I really am.
Well, it's so funny too, because I don't know if Contra's changed her position, but like back, pre-transition, when I was listening to her, she was like very still liberal and like not on board with communism or left-wing anarchy or any of this stuff. So
Yeah.
I wonder how many people that like her content don't understand that Tabby character is not like a joke. I mean, it is a joke, but it's like that's how she really feels about some of these people.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
I think that in a world where so many in the trans community are victims of acts of violence in the West, there's something so cathartic.
We hear this so much too, that there's so many acts of violence against the trans community.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any. I've never seen anyone like show numbers for that. Maybe someone can bring that up. But.
No, I went and looked them up, and I mean, it's a losing situation because even if it's like 150, you can't say, 150 trans people. You're like, no, but listen, 40,000 people are killed a year by smoking. Like, this is very small, but they're like, but it's still 150. Like, you can't. That's a no-win argument.
That's
Like
true. That's a good point.
one is too many, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But if you're trying to be like, you can't have logic goes out the window when you're talking about people like crime, pain and suffering, that kind of thing. I mean, the conservatives do the same thing with the immigration stuff, because even if the immigrants commit less crime or whatever, it's just still like, if you're the one getting your house broken into or
Right.
a loved one
Exactly.
killed, like it's a losing argument. It's a totally losing
Right.
argument. So
Yeah, no, in terms of, I mean, I'm not saying it personally. I'm not saying it in terms of like, oh, it doesn't matter when a trans person dies because it's so few. It's just in terms of people who say like there's this epidemic. It's like, well, is there an epidemic or is
there's
it
not
just...
an epidemic.
Okay.
And
There's no epidemic.
the reason why, and this is so disingenuous of the media too, because they're like, white supremacy is up 50%. Yeah, because it was 8 guys and now it's 16 guys. Okay, like you guys are freaking crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this just happened with right after the shooting, which was poor persuasion. Right after the shooting, Neil deGrasse Tyson put like a list, like a chart of the amount of people that are killed every year by like different things.
Oh my God, he was trying to make the argument.
Yeah, and so like at the bottom was like people killed by guns or something, and then at the top was like people killed by medical mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Medical mistakes is the big one.
Yeah, and then it's like under that was like car crashes or heart disease or something, and so everyone fucking jumped down his throat for posting that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, the numbers are not going to help you here. Like,
No.
looking for the stats, it ain't going to help. It ain't going to help.
It's funny because you have people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Jordan Peterson, and I guess us to some extent, who are more focused on like turning off the emotional aspect and just saying, okay, well, I want to know what like the actual objective numbers are.
Yes.
And so then when you talk about it, people that are focused on the emotions, like, what the fuck, you monster out there?
Yeah, totally. Well, how do we get around that though? Because this is what I'm saying. Like, I want to know the numbers for me, but I know that they're not going to help me in an argument.
Right.
But it's helpful if I can sleep at night, which I sleep like a fucking baby, dude. It's like these people that think the sky is falling. I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? I had to grow up before the internet. You guys have it easy.
I mean, that's gonna probably come up in the debate I'm gonna have on your channel with about gender dysphoria, because it comes up with people not being able to look into like, what are the numbers of people that have trans regret and want to transition back?
Yeah, they're high.
We don't know because it's like taboo to even keep those numbers anywhere.
They're high. They're super high.
I have no idea I have literally zero idea what they would be.
Oh man.
Because when you do find numbers, they're all over the place. No one can agree on what they are.
Search trans regret and watch some of the videos, guys. Oh my God, heart-wrenching.
Cathartic about a trans woman who carries around a bat and makes Nazis shit themselves and run away. I know that it's also probably not a good image to outsiders, and that's the point, but I frankly don't care, and don't expect me to, because I just don't.
Quinton wants to transition into a cat girl with a bat scaring Nazis.
Yeah. No empathy either.
No
empathy for your... Oh, yeah.
Fuck those.
Obviously, we shouldn't empathize with Nazis. Let's go get them.
Those are the bullies that we can bully, Adam. Okay.
I'm working on a time machine. I'm the only one that's actually working on the problem, okay?
There you go. We're going to go back and stop those Nazis once and for all.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to wipe them out of history so they can't even blame people for being Nazis.
But generally, my favorite thing about the stuff that Natalie points out is when she makes content challenging basic social norms and how they prove to be problematic both personally and culturally. Beauty.
On a completely unrelated topic, as I pause the video again, here's the thing here's an interesting thing though with the Nazis. As I found out in my P+P=R video, if it wasn't for the Nazis, I think the Nazis did a lot to stem racism in America. Like, I think because once they could conflate...
Did you take your media training class this week? Jeez, I can't believe you're saying this shit.
I'm not. I know I didn't take it. For those that don't know,
there's a soundbite of you actually right now saying the interesting thing about the...
The interesting thing about the Nazis. That's true.
Don't say that.
That's
Never
like the
say
worst
that in an
sentence you can
interview.
ever
Are you
say.
kidding me?
But look, it's okay. I have the Jewish privilege shield,
okay. You should mention that as well. As a Jew, the
As a
interesting
Jew,
thing, you have the immunity idol.
I'm activating my Jewish privilege shield. It's like a giant Jewish star is appearing around me. It's protecting me. Okay.
Nice.
No, because the term racism really kicked off in America in response to the Nazis killing Jews and gypsies or
'Cause that was
Romies,
real
I'm sorry, whatever
racism.
the word is. I'm not a European. And other white people. Like the word racism was really associated with being a Nazi. So then
Really?
once in America you could associate being racist towards black people as being related to Nazis, I think that did a lot psychologically to get Americans to stop being racist.
Definitely. Yeah, we were at war with them. So the whole psyche of the nation was probably fixated on that.
Right. So what I'm saying is the Nazis were no, I'm just kidding.
Another video which is considered to be a premier example of a quality video essay, goes through so many elements of that topic with a fine comb that I feel like giving it just one thesis statement is selling it too short. Natalie really is an incredible talent of breaking down issues and explaining not only why they influence other things in the world, but also how...
You think Contra would ever allow this bathroom audio into one of her videos?
No, of course not. This is where Contra is actually genius, is that she understands production value. She really does.
Right.
I think she just straw mans the arguments, though, to be honest with you. Like everything he's saying about her being this deep intellectual seems like Emperor's has no clothes to me.
Right. No, I agree. And not only does she have very great production values, but she has a very great sense of aesthetics and what we talked about this. She nails what I call the queer aesthetic perfectly.
Yeah.
And that really and I'm not saying that like queer like in a bad way, but there's
No, you are.
No, I'm not. There's a certain visual and kind of tonal aesthetic that applies to, I think, primarily women and queer people.
Yeah.
So she nails it perfectly.
Well, I think it's beautiful. Okay, and I don't have a queer bone in my body, so I mean, I think even straight white males can. I mean, she's got the eye candy going. It looks great.
It looks.
She knows about backlights.
I don't know. Maybe this is where we differ, but it's like to me, I understand that it looks great. On objective level, it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all visual only for me. Obviously, but I don't watch any of the videos. But the clips Quinton's pulling out are great. This is great stuff, man.
Influenced by a larger design, by something out of their hands. But I didn't generally choose to make a video like this just to talk about why I like her, but also to discuss a lot of the positive influence that she has brought forth comprehensively. So join me, ladies, gents, and non-binaries, as we discuss...
Oh my god. I want to see Quinton try to go against the Jordan Peterson video.
What do they say? Yeah, me too. Oh my god. We'll hit that one up like post haste. What is Contrapoints saving us from? I mean, I don't know.
You know, it's so funny because
there's for UBI or something.
There's all these articles that came out that was like Contrapoints is saving, YouTube by transforming, white alt-righters into good liberals or good lefties. Mm-hmm. And there's an interview I listened to with Contra with Ezra Klein, ironically enough.
Oh my god.
I know. And
my brain just exploded. That's like a thing that exists.
That's right. Ezra Klein interviewed Contrapoints.
Oh my god.
Yes. The dreaded Ezra Klein. But it's funny because in that interview, she says that she resents the way the media portrays her because she doesn't even agree with that narrative that she's transforming racist.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. They fake newsed her. They fake newsed her.
Quinton's giving into the fake news too.
That's awesome.
Death to capitalism and the patriarchy, smash the binary, hail Satan. Ow!
It's become quite a noticeable trend in the past year that people who are bad or on the path to being really bad.
You know what? You convinced me. After seeing all like the visuals of a Contra video and then coming back to this.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah. Someone doesn't know about lighting.
Or ironing their sheets, apparently.
Do you think Quinton owns an iron? We're going to take a poll in the chat. Let us know if you think Quinton actually owns an iron.
You can buy those things you could put in the washing. You could just put a wet towel in the dryer and it will unwrinkle most things.
Yeah, totally.
That's a little life hack for you guys.
have suddenly found themselves breaking free of those chains and slipping loose of the indoctrination and making a better path for themselves. And I've seen a lot of people like Harris and Philosophy too brought up in those discussions, but it's Natalie specifically that I've seen brought up the most. For some reason, her videos...
For some reason, the woke community likes the transgender lady's videos better than the white guy video.
I wonder
Can't
why.
imagine why.
Yeah. I mean, they only talk about it every day.
Yes.
are very good for helping people realize that their points of view are just flawed.
And it's funny because there's all this like weird historical revisionism about Contra, because when she first transitioned and started to get more popularity, every day woke people were criticizing her for having problematic views about, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But now suddenly that she's gained like mainstream appeal, like, oh, that's all goes out the window. All hail Queen.
People fall in line. They bow to status, and she's high status now. She's high status.
Clout chaser, Quinton.
Yeah.
Gotta get on that clout.
Are very misguided, and it helps them realize that they want to change. And the question to me is, why specifically does she have this effect on people while others might not? I think a big aspect of it is that her videos are just artistically brilliant and incredible to look at. There's not a single video of hers that doesn't adhere to...
Read manipulation.
Well,
he's basically saying they're propaganda, so you take that into account.
Yeah, on one hand, I don't know. On one hand, it is, you could make that argument, but on the other hand, you know, putting time and effort into making your videos look good is not, I think, is always a positive thing.
Well, I don't disagree that it works. Are you kidding? Like, it's persuasion 101, man.
Well, I'm not talking about just having it work. I'm talking about it's positive morally.
Oh, it's like you're saying because I'm saying it's manipulation that it's immoral.
Well, manipulation tends to be, you know, a not moral process.
Oh yeah, I'm.
I think it's right. You're definitely
I think
right.
it's manipulation, but I don't necessarily think manipulation is wrong.
Okay.
Well, the funny thing about the type of manipulation that Contra is doing is that you could come out and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm making these slick videos because I really want to manipulate you," and the manipulation still works, like,
right?
Because your brain can't distinguish between, like, okay. I mean, I just try to be honest about that stuff, so it's less manipulative, but the manipulation still works. Have you seen the Prestige?
Of course.
That movie's so great because he says, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do it right in front of you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing. And you're still not going to believe me because that's the way it works. That's the way that I feel about propaganda and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Contrapoints could come out and say, you know, this is a total scam. You know, I'm just trying to make you fall in love with me. And you're still going to fall in love with me, even though I'm telling you that.
So you're saying Contra is really a pickup artist?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. She's had all those patrons. She picked them all up, didn't she? I mean,
Contra is the most successful pickup artist on YouTube. There you go.
Honest.
You heard it here first, everyone.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Some aesthetic and isn't absolutely breathtaking to take in. Arguably her best work is the projects that come across as sort of short films, because she is seriously such an incredible filmmaker. And in a way, I think it makes a lot of sense that this aspect helps her points get across. It's always been a big trend that people who seek to regress our culture spread their beliefs through emphatic speeches and waves of anger and really nice...
See, so Quinton's only doing one of those things.
How ironic is it that he has Senator McCarthy up?
I know, it's true. I didn't even think about that. But
for those of you who don't know who Senator McCarthy is, he's the one that began the witch hunts for communists in the government and business. I can't remember when it was, but right now we're on the same. Quinton here is saying, throwing his hat in the ring. He's saying, "I want to join the witch hunt. I want to join the witch hunt for the racists. Come on, we're all looking for the racists. I want to be in. Make me cool."
Right. I mean, that was the thing. That was like the thing that really turned me off to SJW wokenism in the beginning, was just seeing this parallel to McCarthy and being like, oh,
yeah,
what are we doing?
Quinton needs to reach over and give him a big old kiss. That's your avatar, buddy.
Nice clothing. And progressive people, meanwhile, have a much stronger grasp on the arts and spread their ideals through that means, in a way which at the time can get them in a lot of trouble, but generally has a more long-standing effect on popular culture.
So Quentin is complaining about people that just sit in front of a camera and rant, which is what he's doing. While he's praising people that put time and effort into like artistic videos.
Yeah.
Which he's not doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Just let it sink in.
The scholars of our time, the fascists have the outrage. But I don't care for the outrage.
Wait.
What?
What? I gotta rewind. We gotta... Wait a minute. This is too... My brain just stopped working for a second.
I know.
What I care about is music.
Oh, it didn't go back. Damn, you watched Together Room.
You don't know how it works?
Standing effect on popular culture. To purposefully misquote the scholars of our time, the fascists have the outrage. But I don't care for the outrage.
Yeah.
What I care about is music. And the communists have the music. I know it's...
What the The entire SJW woke movement is built on outrage. That's all it is. It's just fucking being outraged at everything.
Why do you think they cancel people, Sitch? What do you think is
Because
what's
of the
motive?
music, Adam. They're canceling them because of the beautiful music.
They didn't sing enough. I thought it was the outrage, but I guess I'm wrong.
It's literally called outrage culture, you fuck. Oh my god. I never made it to this point in the video when I watched it before. This
You were lucky.
Oh my, this is fucking... How could you... Is this like, is he purposely dishonest or is he just this fucking stupid?
We do these streams all the time and we watch this stuff. I don't know that I really get outraged about this stuff. I think that's the problem with us. We aren't really...
I get outraged at like people's inability to like fucking see what's right in front of their face. Like, how could you be so blind and make that statement?
You have to just accept it. This is human nature. This is human nature on display, man. When I watch this stuff, I feel like I'm at the zoo. I'm just like peering into the people's minds.
There you go. See, that's the thing. You're disassociating them as like not human. So that's what I need to do. I'd be like, these are the others. Oh, that hurts.
It's sort of ironic that I'm making a video about Contrapoints and I'm not bringing across any of her aesthetic or audio quality.
Okay, well at least he's bringing it up. Okay.
Woo! Some self-awareness. Thank God.
There's a tiny iota of self-awareness rattling around in that brain, rattling around in that beard.
The difference between me and her is that she spends weeks and weeks and months working on all these videos, making sure they're all fantastic and hilarious and gorgeous to look at and factually accurate. And she spends all that time. And meanwhile, I have a day and a half until I leave for VidCon, and I really want this to be done by then.
Motivation. He's like, I gotta get this fucking Contrapoints, like begging, dick sucking, not in a transphobic way, video out before I get to VidCon, so that all the BreadTube people will say, oh my God, look at Quinton. He made this video praising Contrapoints. Like, let's all invite him to be part of our clubhouse.
Man, I would love to have Contra's job. Are you kidding me? Like, I could do all that fancy film work and stuff like that.
So do it.
Well, I don't have the outrage. Like, that's the problem. Okay. I don't have the vapid talking. I don't want to sit around and write scripts that are like vapid talking points to people's political biases. Like, seriously. And on YouTube, that's what people want. Like,
right.
That's what they want. That's what they want. Contra goes, what preconceived notion of the world can I confirm today for my audience? And then I can go out and do the production design stuff that I love to do. It's like, I want to do the production stuff too. I don't want to like confirm people's biases.
I would say that with the Contra videos that I've seen, it's not so much she's throwing out a bunch of straw mans, but then she'll throw out a bunch of like weak defenses of the straw mans that kind of like muddle it up so that there's not like a real clear answer presented in her videos.
Right. So you're saying she's playing a centrist. Like she really is a centrist, but she's just
I'm saying she's trying to, she's not a centrist, but she's like
Right.
pretending that she is.
right. Well, other centrists can spot that she's a centrist, but the other people ignore it because they're like, look at, like obviously she's far left. You can just tell by the way this scene looks.
Well, because if you listen to her in interviews where she doesn't have time to write a script, she'll say a lot more like incendiary things.
Right.
So you can
So you-
you can see how calculated her scripts are,
Right. So you think
which
she's
is
got
fine, I guess, as long as you're being honest. I don't have a problem with people being calculated, but I do think there's some dishonesty in the way
Yeah.
she frames her videos.
Sargon pressed her for a disavowing of political violence, and she wouldn't come out and say it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting because, like, before she transitioned, for one, when I made the video about Nazi punching being bad, I was looking at, she was on a stream, or when she was still a he, was on a stream with, I forget, like Michael Rowlands, or I don't know, some of those woke people,
Mhm.
like some of the classic SJW
Those
people that aren't really
dipshits?
around anymore.
Those dipshits.
Yeah, some of those dipshits, Demotivator Tim and all those assholes. But and she was the only one that was saying that she had a problem with
I remember that.
punching Richard Spencer.
Yeah. She
So
was
it's
trying.
interesting that she's changed her opinion now.
The patrons must have chimed in. They were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe! Like, why wouldn't you punch that guy? Oh, maybe we should punch him."
It's true. It's hard. I think it's hard for people to understand until you're in that position how easy it is to shift your position once you start
Oh.
to gain status and money, based on this
Definitely,
stuff.
definitely, yeah, of course. You lock it in.
Yep.
I tried to compensate for all this by making my set look like David Lynch set it up, but I didn't order enough curtains. So I couldn't even do that, right?
Oh my God. But see, this is hilarious. He's trying to make a joke of this, but this perfectly encapsulates Quinton Reviews, okay? He cares more about getting this video out before VidCon so that the Bread2 people will see it than he does in producing a good video. So he's not going to say, like, if he really cared about what he was talking about, if he really cared about promoting Contrapoints, then he would say, you know what? I'm going to shelf this video until I can do it correctly.
Right. Yeah.
But no, he doesn't care.
I wonder if he has a
Clout
bunch
chaser
of
Quinton.
patrons.
But I think that the bigger secondary reason that Contrapoints is able to convert so many people back to the side of good is because she makes her videos not just with the motivation of exposing the other side and ridiculing them for having the wrong opinion, but also of helping them understand why their perspectives are misguided. Here's why I think
You think Contra's helping people understand why they're misguided?
No, not at all. I was laughing because in Jonathan Haidt's new book, he talks about the 3 great untruths, and number 3 is life is a battle between good and evil people.
Right.
That's an untruth. Yeah. And he just completely encapsulated that.
Well,
untruth.
he said good in quotes, finger quotes. So I don't know. Maybe he was trying to be ironic.
Oh, okay. Maybe he was.
she is so important to this system. As someone who, by my own admission, was pretty far down the anti-feminist rabbit hole, the same rabbit hole which can eventually lead to some pretty...
This guy never... Well, I don't know what the fuck he's talking... His videos,
Yeah.
he
where was
never
he?
talked about this shit ever that I
Yeah.
saw.
Where was he down the ante? Like maybe he, I don't know. Does
And
Quinn
who-
have a girlfriend? Is he married? What's going on?
No,
here?
no, definitely not. Definitely not. He's thirsting after Jenny Nicholson. He doesn't got a girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, as from my experience with him last year, where he was so rude to me based on my channel. So obviously his anti-SJW rabbit hole lasted for like very short period of time, because already last year he was, you know, becoming woke.
Yeah, I wonder how it'll go for him.
Well, according to a source, it's not going to go well because they don't like him. So
They're like, we suspect you might be an incel.
look, everyone can smell desperation. Okay?
Oh, that's true. That is true.
And it's funny because universally, that's something that turns people off almost instantly.
Oh,
If they
big
feel
time.
like you're
Yeah.
being way too desperate to like get in their good graces.
Yeah. Yeah, desperation is the
stuff.
kiss of death.
Yeah, and they're not stupid. People can sense it. can sense the thirsty clout chaser, Quinton.
He's just so hammering him with that.
Yeah.
We
I'm pulling a
should
Trump. I'm going to give him a nickname.
we should have done a little chyron for him that said clout chaser.
And has birthed mass murderer after mass murderer. I have to say that I don't fully believe that I was...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck was he talking about?
Feminism created mass murderers? I don't know.
I don't think that's what he said.
pretty dark stuff and has birthed mass murder.
I think he's trying to say that anti-feminism has made mass murderers.
Interesting.
Why their perspectives are misguided. Here's why I think she is so important to this system. As someone who, by my own admission, was pretty far down the anti-feminist rabbit hole, the same rabbit hole which can eventually lead to some pretty dark stuff and has birthed mass murderer after mass murderer, I have to say that I...
What? You mean Elliott Rogers? Is that who he's talking? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you widen it to not just anti-feminism but racism, I guess maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
The rabbit hole argument is like the worst argument because these people go after all the gatekeepers in the rabbit hole that are preventing people from sliding.
Yeah, like Jordan Peterson.
Exactly. They go after Jordan Peterson. They go after people like us. They go after people like Shoe on Head. You know, they go after Chris Reagan. They go after any liberal that would act as a gatekeeper for the alt-right rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's so funny. It's so ironic.
I mean,
no one's going to listen to them
on
on this stuff. Like, it's funny because they think Contrapoints is the one saving these people.
Contrapoints who's in a completely different rabbit hole on the other side of the field.
Know, exactly. Do you think he's auditioning for that Faraday Speaks role? Like he's like, I want to be in the New York Times.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Seems like it might be a little bit in that direction. He
he
wants to pull out. He wants the chyron to read former alt-right. He's just not brave enough to put that on there. Faraday Speaks is like, I don't care.
It's funny that I'm glad that you brought up Faraday because he's the kid that they wrote the article about, and he was like, oh, Contra saved me from the alt-right.
Yeah.
And if you read his story, it's not even consistent with like the SJW narrative of the rabbit hole. It's not like, oh, he started watching Shoe on Head videos and then started watching Sargon videos and then he started watching alt-right videos. Like, no. He was like a disaffected beta male.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm sorry, not beta male. He had all these problems going on with his life. I think he just broke up with his girlfriend or something. I don't know. And he was like dropped out of college. He's having all these problems. And he starts watching fucking Stefan Molyneux videos.
Right.
And Stefan Molyneux was talking about all this like political self-help stuff. And it's funny because it's like, well, if Jordan Peterson had existed, this many years ago,
before
on YouTube,
Stefan Molyneux,
Faraday would have found Jordan Peterson instead and never got sucked into this alt-right stuff because he didn't get sucked into any rabbit hole. He started with Stefan Molyneux, who's already like the edge of the hole.
Their narrative doesn't agree with facts and logic. I mean,
it's like I got sucked into the alt-right rabbit hole. I just heard Richard Spencer talking, and it was just then he just sucked me in. It's like, wait a minute.
I don't think that Faraday Speaks guy planned this by any means. But
no, I don't. I agree. I
the left puts out narratives. Well, both sides do this. They put out a narrative that said, we need someone to fill this narrative, and the algorithm, I would say, picked him because his video got popular. And he filled the role. He's like, I'll play that role. I can play that role.
Well, I think he was the first person to make a YouTube video about, he probably wasn't the first person to make a YouTube video about like being alt-right and then switching, but he was the first person that say it was Contrapoints or another YouTuber that saved him.
That's true.
So that's why the video blew up.
Yeah, the news people, they always want an image, and they were probably looking to cross-promote Contrapoints anyway. They're like, this guy's perfect. He fits the narrative, and we've been wanting to pitch this girl forever. That's just like
exactly
our dream.
Yeah, because I think he probably just got lucky too, because this was around the time that like people started writing articles about Contrapoints out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
So it's just good timing on his part.
I don't fully believe that I was there just by chance. Instead, I fully believe that YouTube actively promotes reactionary content which is filled with sensationalism over level-headed stuff which actually speaks the truth.
Level-headed stuff like Quinton Reviews talking about how Philly D is sympathizing with baby stabbers.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I don't. Contrapoints is level-headed now. H Bomber Guy is level-headed. Sean and Jen is level-headed. What are we talking here, Quentin? Like, you sound like you're on drugs. Like, just put down the LSD. Like, move away from the drugs, sir.
It's so blind. It's such blinds. You know, my side is the level-headed side, and the enemies are the reactionaries who are so angry and emotional.
Hilarious. I'm getting emotional over here, Sitch.
Yeah.
It's
so
starting
to hit you. It's starting to affect you. You're no longer in the zoo, Adam.
I'm so angry.
Entirely because the former makes them more money. Think about it. The YouTube algorithm exists to maximize Google's profits. It's
all about the money with centrism. We're getting rich over here, bud.
Oh my god.
We're getting rich.
We're just rolling in this. Everyone wants the centrist. No one wants you to pick a side and demonize the other side. I mean,
come on.
Well, I guess, here's the thing. He's saying that YouTube promotes this tribalism, but that's exactly what the fuck Quinton's doing.
Totally. Yeah, just on the other side. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah, they promote the extremes, and I think YouTube is like working on that. Like, they don't know how to stop it. They're like, we found a bug in the human software. Like, people enjoy getting angry. People like hating people. It's one of their favorite things to do, it turns out. So
I just received some inside information from VidCon this year.
Really? Oh,
yes. No. I'm not going to say who gave me this information unless they want me to. But they said that Quinton was like interacting with some of those pesky anti-SJWs during VidCon, like Chris Raygun and Nerd City and some other people. And he was like acting really shitty to them, even though they were trying to be nice to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wowzers.
So maybe someone there will make a video about it.
You mean they score very low on loyalty? Like, they're pretty much clout chasing backstabbers?
Who said that before?
Yeah, you nailed it, man. Where'd you buy your crystal ball, man?
From the Jonathan Haidt store, obviously.
I know, exactly.
Post more often, more than those who post less, because more people go through all the videos and see all the ads, yada, yada, yada. You get the drill. We've talked about this before. But we should all stop and consider the repercussions of what that might mean in the place of discourse. A YouTuber who cares about their topic, who spends months researching it and
picture unrelated?
Yeah.
Perfecting it and make something actually good can never
We did an H-Bomber Guy video, right? Or no, we didn't.
I don't know. There's been 44. We're almost to our 1-year anniversary here, right? 52 weeks in a year.
That's true. I always get these white SJW YouTubers confused. They all look the same to me.
Yeah.
They're all a bunch of white soy boys.
Yeah.
Bunch of beta
Just
males.
march them into the ocean. That's what we should do.
Give
them surfboards and tell them to go live in Hawaii.
There it is.
Truly compete with some talentless jackass who knows absolutely nothing about the topic he's covering and can post whenever he wants because his videos have no substance. People who actually care and are actually...
That's hilarious. Paul Joseph Watson has no substance. Come on.
Well, it's like, I agree with his point in that obviously YouTube favors people that make content every day. We've all known this, and I agree with that 100%. But there's plenty of people like that on Quinton's woke side that just shit out terrible videos every day.
Oh, totally. They do live streams.
Just
like us.
Exactly, like us. But
we do. But we're once a week, man. They're like live streaming every single day.
Right. Throughout the other week, throughout the rest of the week, I'm working on actual video, and you're making deepfakes.
Deepfakes, yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Subscribe. Give me some ideas for some good deepfakes, man. Seriously.
But Quinton should compare H Bomber Guy to like someone that does something similar, and there's lots of us that do similar things.
Yeah, H Bomber Guys. I don't count him as substance, man. He's deep in the bubble. Like there are people that look at the world and they follow the evidence where it leads, and there are people that come to the world with a narrative and then search for evidence to confirm that narrative. It's commonly called cherry picking. Like the H Bomber guy is the king of cherry picking. Like seriously, Sean and Jen, cherry pickers. Quinton Reviews here, cherry picker. Yeah,
I remember
Contra's
H Bomber
smart,
guy
man.
got some long spat with Mahler too, and I don't remember. I think it was. I don't remember what exactly it was about. It might have also been about Last Jedi and him calling Mahler like. Everyone, because Mahler doesn't like The Last Jedi and because Mahler has rags on his show, they call him like some sort of right-wing Nazi.
Why is Rags right wing? I mean, maybe
I don't know if he's right-wing, but
conservative.
he's anti-SJW.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
all it takes to be a Nazi these days.
I know. We're living in the boy who cried racist.
Why are all these centrists defending Nazis, Adam? I just don't understand it.
I don't know. Maybe the evidence doesn't bear that out. Doesn't bear that thesis out. I don't know.
And you know, this was one of my points years and years ago when I started fucking worrying about this shit, was that when people cry racism, as you said, if they're crying wolf, then people aren't going to believe you when it actually happens.
Yes, exactly.
And we
You're
see
giving
that.
cover to the 9 racists that are left in America.
Right, but we're seeing that right now. When someone actually says something that you're like, whoa, that's pretty racist, all these people defend them because they're so like tired of the racist label.
Did you hear? You know the Julian Castro? They're like twin brothers, but one's running for president. Did you hear that there's a bunch of someone's like, yeah, 2 people can play this game. Dug up all the Hispanic voters that gave to Trump that didn't make Julian Castro's list.
Oh wait, so those that don't know, Julian Castro, who is a representative in Texas, he and his brother is running for president, but he doesn't stand a chance.
Well, because he's like 4'2", let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
He's like a shorty.
He is very short. That's true. That's the real reason he won't win. But so Julian Castro, is Julian Castro, right? That's his name.
His brother was the one that tweeted out. Joaquin was the brother.
One of the Castro brothers, the one that's the representative of Texas, he tweeted out a list of people that donated to Trump in his district.
Yeah,
so
his own voters.
People under the bus in order to like shame them and get people to boycott them or whatever.
The context was these are the people who are funding the white supremacist takeover of America.
Right.
Like, get them.
And so, but what you're saying is that someone said that he intentionally left out a bunch of Hispanic names from that list?
Yeah, because they gave, guess what? Hispanics gave to Trump too. Like they live in Texas. Are you kidding? I think Texas is like as red as it gets.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So what do you call it when you target a group of people based solely on their race?
It's a word that begins with R. It's like right on the tip of my tongue.
So now he's under ethics investigation.
Race car driver? No.
Now he's under ethics investigation because like he targeted those people based on race.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that part of the story. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Well, technically, Adam, racism is power plus prejudice. So
I guess,
you can't be
right.
racist against white people.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Hilarious.
Like I like the idea that like, oh, just being bigoted is somehow better than being racist.
Oh, I know. Yeah, totally. I can't wait to see where the ethics investigation goes. It's going to be a good one.
I mean, if they show that he purposely left out people's names based on ethnicity, that's a strong case, I would think, for an ethics violation.
Actually put effort into their content have always had a hard time competing with channels who can just download a BuzzFeed video, put it in Premiere, edit pauses into it, dub their voiceover, claim that the video represents all of that political topic, host it the same day, and repeat that about 4 times a week.
I'm sorry, is he explaining his process for this video with Contrapoints?
Yeah.
Is that what just happened? That's what happened, right? He's explaining his creative process for this video.
Yeah. Response videos are pretty easy. I should do more of them.
Well, as you said, YouTube is actively trying to stop people from making response videos, or at least that's the theory.
Yeah. Response videos, I think, are on the way out. Because I see channels that are all response videos, and they're getting demonetized for reused content. And I think they're getting demonetized for reusing the content of the person that they're making the response video to.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Excuse me. I'm trying to figure out where the you have a
Using
bunch of
people,
super chats. To go
using
through.
people, yeah, using people in the thumbnails too. I think they don't necessarily like we've done in this video because we're rebels.
Econs for $4.99 says James Madison was the shortest president. He was also a bad orator. He would never get elected president today.
Yeah.
There you go. James Madison. Okay, no. Which one was James? Which one was John? I always get them confused.
Yeah, before there weren't. Well, I guess there were debates, but they weren't like televised, so you could never see the candidates side by side. Like that Julian Castro guy, when he was in the debate, I was like, oh my God, he's just a tiny person. You see him next to other people, and you're like, he's smaller than the women. What's going on here? This is funny. Something's happening. I don't get it.
Caffeine Tweaker for two Canadian bucks says, point of privilege, I'm as tall as Adam. Is that true?
I don't know. Suppose she is.
You
Maybe.
don't know. You met her recently.
I did, but I wasn't sizing her up for her height.
That
or
means
anything.
that's guy speak for she's as tall as me, but I don't want to admit it.
Okay. No, you're not. You're shorter than me.
Noel Campbell for $2 says, I would have never learned piano without my bully. That's right. You were bullied by your parents and your piano teacher.
Yes. Bullies can be useful. Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to push them in the right direction. You want to turn them into cops and piano teachers.
Well, but moral cops. We have,
Yeah,
We
exactly.
have issues with
Yes.
policing. Okay.
Well,
Well, let's open that discussion. Hallucinate for $2 says, hose mad times 24.
yeah.
Hose mad times 25. Patrick Meredith for $4.99 says, also remember, if you don't want to sleep with an incel, it's the incel's fault. If you don't want to sleep with a trans person, you're a transphobe.
Oh, I love that one.
That's
I
what?
love
That's a
that one.
fantastic point. I wish we had thought of it. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I want to hear what Quinton's response to that would be. Patrick for $10 says, progressives will obscure their beliefs on toxic masculinity. They don't think a good firefighter is a toxic male, but will criticize male traits that make a good firefighter as toxic. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say earlier. They very narrowly try to classify toxic masculinity to only encompass, like, basically the way that I look at it is that all traits have a positive and negative attribute to them, right?
Definitely.
The
dose makes the medicine.
Exactly. The dose makes the medicine or the poison. And so the toxic masculinity thing is they'll only focus on the negative aspect of each trait without focusing on the positive aspects. And your point, and to my point to some degree too, is that it's probably impossible to have the positive attribute without some of the negatives that come with it.
Yeah. I have family members that are in law enforcement, and they're like, I always look at them like Superman because they have a super ethical core. Like they can't stand injustice. So when you talk about we have problems with policing, yeah, there are people who become cops with ulterior motives, but that's like any organization. There's always people that join organizations because they have ulterior motives.
Well, wait a minute. My point was in terms of, like, when you're saying that you have family members that are police and that they have this strong ethical core that they're coming from, that's different than saying the bully who wants to bully the bully should be the cop.
But no, I'm saying that the only thing different about toxic masculinity between the firefighter and the bully is the moral center. And you got to focus on the moral center and not the feminists are focused on the behavior and not focused on the moral center. They're like, we have to get rid of this behavior no matter what. And I'm like, no, you want that behavior. That behavior is essential for society. And the super, I don't know the name of the super chatter. I can't remember, but his super chat is right on the money, because that's exactly what you want to do. You want to focus on pushing people in the right direction.
Right. And also, I think this goes back to the incels too, because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the incels' problem is that they I think a lot of them kind of grew up in this atmosphere of like, they were so afraid of being too aggressive towards women that they've become too passive.
Yes.
And
I
so they
agree.
view it like, well, I was the nice guy that followed all the rules I was taught by good society, and yet it's the assholes that get the women. So that's why they're probably so embittered.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because society's now become structured in a way that, like, obviously the guy that is forward that the woman likes is not going to get slapped on the wrist for it. Like, those behaviors are still taking place.
Right.
But they like now they expect people to be mind readers. Which is an impossibility. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you got to make a move, but we've made the making that move impossible for people. I feel for people, man. I'm glad I'm not in a dating
I
market
agree
right
completely.
now.
I forget who it was. There's someone not that long ago, or maybe it was last year, where there was like someone asked someone out, and they were like, "Oh, this person sexually harassed me because they asked me out."
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
It's like, oh, okay, it's like, excuse me. I mean, I agree with you. That's when I was talking about crying racism, that's the problem with crying sexism and crying sexual assault, is that
Exactly.
people aren't going to believe when someone's actually being like fucked up to some degree, if you simply approaching a woman in a normal way is considered too aggressive or bad or whatever.
Yeah, it's become any sexual harassment is any guy I don't want to go out with asking me out, not like
or interacting with me in some fashion.
Yeah, exactly. So if the girl likes the guy and goes out with him, it's no longer sexual harassment.
Well, okay.
It's like, what the?
Here's a perfect example of
like
what
the
I'm
same
talking
behavior.
About. A girl tweeted out that she had some instance where some guy she didn't know texted her randomly and asked her out, and she was like, who are you and how did you get my phone number? And he was like, oh, it's a mystery, I'll only tell you if you beat me in this game of like phone pool or something. And so she said, that's creepy, but I'm also like intrigued, so she plays the game.
Yeah,
And
because
then
she thinks it's the guy she likes.
Well, no, but so anyway, so she plays the game, she beats him, and then it turns out that he was like, I think it's like someone that was like an Uber Eats driver or something related with Uber Eats, and he saw her and thought she looked attractive, so he like got her phone number through Uber Eats, which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're an employee. And so I see, and then she was like, wow, that's really creepy. So I look at that and I say, yeah, that is creepy. A random stranger you don't know gets your phone number in a way they shouldn't have got it, and then like tries to like play this weird coy like guess who I am game with you on your phone. Like, that's weird. So, but when I tweeted that out and I retweeted this, some people were defending what the guy was doing as not creepy.
Well, it depends if she likes him or not, because it's not creepy if she's into him. If she doesn't like him, it's creepy.
Yeah, but okay, if you're the guy, okay, and you see an attractive girl, or is you gonna think it's a good idea to get her phone number through some bizarre means and then like do this weird like I'm a mystery man texting you? Like, who would think that's a good idea?
It depends. Depends on the girl, man.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong. I think that's creepy and weird, and I would never do that in a million years.
No, it is. It is there. All I'm saying is, if the girl is into the guy, they get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but she doesn't know what he looks like.
Yeah, well, there is no ending to the story then.
The ending is she said that's creepy, and I'm not going to go out.
So
with
she
you."
wasn't into the guy.
She was not
she's
into the
like,
guy.
you're an Uber Eats driver. Get fucked. Like,
Well, she
I
didn't
thought
even
you,
know what he
I
looked
thought
like.
you
This
were.
wasn't even. This wasn't. I don't even think this was her Uber Eats driver.
Yeah,
It was
but
some
every-
Uber Eats driver or some Uber guy that just like saw her.
Single girls generally have an idea of the guy that they like in their head. Like she's probably like, this is the guy that I like. Hopefully he's like, finally he stepped up. Like mankind has been beat back to the point where they'll never ask me out. Finally he's making a move on me. So she's texting. She's like, oh God, this guy, I've been wanting him to ask me out for months now. Finally he's making a move. What? It's the Uber Eats driver. Fuck off. Like the story could end two
whatever.
ways. The story either
kinda-
ends it's the guy that she wants or not.
My point is, I don't think it does. If Tom Cruise texted her in the same way, it would.
You're saying it would still be creepy, but she
It
would
would
be
still be
going out
creepy.
with Tom Cruise right now. Like, let's be honest.
No, yeah, but that's what my point. My point is that the action itself is creepy and bad.
Totally.
Okay,
I got you.
that's all. I
No,
was
it
trying to
is. It is bad.
say. Okay.
Terrible.
So,
But Tom
guys,
Cruise would do it. And
If you want to ask a girl out who's a stranger, just go up to her. Don't take her phone number through some bizarre way and try to play a game with her. It's not a good thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't be a stalker.
Don't be a stalker. The Wooster for $4.99 says, "I'm not a fascist" is exactly what a fascist would say. Contrapoints calling everyone actual fascist circa 2018.
Yeah. That's like a real quote.
Eduardo Rodriguez Medrano for $10 says, "Mexico immigration law refuses entry to poor people. There's a reason why there is 1 million illegal American retirees in Mexico using free healthcare. Mexico lets them because they bring the dollars."
Yeah,
There you
they
go.
like it. So classist.
It is classist. Exploding Prinny for $5 says, "I think Quentin narrated this entire video in his head. That's why there's so much echo."
That's so good. That's so good.
That's a nice one. That's a good one. It's a good one.
It's like it needs more echo. It doesn't sound like it sounded when I was narrating it to myself.
It doesn't sound like my self-absorbed narration voice, like I'm JD from Scrubs enough. I got to add some echo in there.
I like the way he just sets everything up. That life is so unfair. The other side has it so easy. They just do these easy response videos and people eat it up. Why can't I get some of that anger cash? It's called ethics, Quentin.
Well, I mean, we know it. Quentin doesn't have any ethics, so.
Yeah.
Clout chaser Quentin. Patrick Meredith for $4.99 says, "There are 800 verified counts of violence against MAGA hat wearers for Scope."
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
Look, here at Sitch and Adam, we just want no political violence or identity-based violence whatsoever. Can we all just agree it's all bad? Violence is bad, okay? Violence is wrong. We're gonna take a controversial stand here, okay? We might get kicked off of YouTube, but we're gonna say it. Violence is wrong.
I'm completely against political violence. I don't understand why, when Sargon was pressing Contrapoints, I don't understand why she just didn't say that. I understand the argument that she's making. She's saying like there are certain points in time when violence is justified. And I completely agree. It's self-defense.
Right.
Like if you're in a situation where violence is being used against you, then yeah, you have every right to defend yourself. But you wouldn't call that political violence. Like why not
was
just
Sargon
denounce?
asking her about violence against like conservatives or violence against white nationalists?
I can't remember the context specifically, but yeah. It was circa the Richard Spencer getting punched thing.
Well, not if it was after she transitioned. That was like way before.
Maybe she was a he then. I don't know though. I don't want to.
Yeah, because well,
I
I'm saying
just
I saw a
remember it
stream
was-
at the time the Richard Spencer thing happened, and she said she, as a he back then, was saying that she was against.
Right, but that wasn't with
violence.
Sargon.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe the
Yes.
venue changes.
So
opinion.
she did a one-on-one stream with Sargon, and I just remember it because I kept saying to myself, "Just say it. Just denounce violence. Just denounce violence. Denounce violence. God damn it! Before I hit you."
I'm curious. Okay, I want to find it now. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Writer John Buck for $10 says, "Just shilling here for everybody to go watch Craig Reed's interview with Inspiring Philosophy. Carry on."
Yes, do. It's really good. They dip a little deeply in the Christian pool. A little deeply for me. They start talking Christian stuff, and that stuff just
Craig-
my eyes glaze over. I'm like, oh,
Craig
my
Reed is
God.
Cordial Curiosity, right?
No,
That's the channel name.
no, that's Reed Nice Wonder. But you're
Oh,
close.
that's Reed Nice. You're right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry, Reed Nice Wonder. I totally confused your name.
Craig Reed is a Christian YouTuber. I'm actually going to be talking to Inspiring Philosophy on my channel next Thursday.
There you go.
He's a great debater. He's an amazing debater. He's a Christian, so he's destroying the anti-theists with facts and logic and science, and I love it. But I disagree with him on a little, just Christian stuff.
Just a little bit.
Well, that Christian stuff bores me.
You're not a big Jesus lover. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm a huge Jesus lover, but I see
Okay.
Jesus as like Superman.
Daniel Collective 1 for $4.99 says 60 to 80% of kids who aren't put on hormone treatment that claim gender dysphoria end up growing out of it. Nearly 100% with treatment remain dysphoric. So I saw this number. I saw that same number too. I'm not sure where that stat comes from. Actually, I am sure. I do know where that's at. The 60 to 80% stat comes from the American Pediatrics Association or Society or whatever the fuck it's called, which you hear American Pediatric Association and you think, oh, they're like doctors. But no, it's actually a right-wing think tank. But so I'm not sure about the validity of the 60 to 80% statistic.
Yeah, I don't know any. I don't like.
I would have to
statistics.
see the base. I'd have to see where that information comes from.
Sitch is my math guy. He's the one that tracks all this stuff down. If I didn't watch his channel, I'd be totally uneducated.
There you go. Hallucinate for $2 says, "Who has more privilege than mainstream media?" Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody.
they have a lot of privilege.
Patrick Meredith for $4.99 says, "McCarthy did not do witch hunts because the witches aren't real. The U.S. government was full of actual spies for the USSR."
Really?
Don't think that is true.
Well, they
I'm
did.
sorry, Patrick.
They did a blacklist in Hollywood that a bunch of writers and directors that just attended meetings, communist meetings.
Well, that's the
Like,
thing
when-
too, is because, I mean,
Go-
I knew there was a couple. I know that there was what was those twins, those brother sister, that like gave the nukes information to the Russians.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Like I know about them. I forget what their names were, but the thing with McCarthy is like I'm not even talking about. I don't even remember him really going after people in the government. He was going after like news commentators. He was going after people in Hollywood. He was
Yeah,
going after
private
like
citizens.
cultural things. He wasn't going after the government.
Yeah, big time.
So I've been, ever since I made my video like 2 years ago about calling out McCarthy, I've been seeing a lot of, I think, and will claim is completely revisionist history trying to defend McCarthy. Because here's the thing: if you believe in freedom of speech, then you believe that people in America should be allowed to be part of the Communist Party if they want to,
Big time.
right?
Yeah. Who are we going to laugh at if we don't have them?
Exactly. How can we laugh at the DSA convention people if they don't exist?
I know. Jeez. Come on.
So if you're for blacklisting people who are communist, who are obeying the laws of our government and our system, if you're in favor of blacklisting them, but you're against blacklisting Trump supporters, well then you're just a hypocrite. Come on,
Yeah.
let's be fair here.
Yeah. Let them all talk.
Exactly. Darth Fagit, our favorite super chatter, Darth Fagit, for $10 says, "Are we in a fallen state?" No,
That's Jesse Lee Peterson.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, I like Jesse Lee Peterson. He's fun.
I don't think we're in a fallen state. I think that is an exaggeration.
I believe we're in a fallen state, and I'm an atheist. I believe we're born in a fallen state,
Oh, okay.
and through the
see.
avatar of Jesus Christ,
There you go. We're all born in sin, lost
we
in
are.
grace.
We're totally.
We
we're
must
all-
find the Jesus to bring us back to the light.
We're all apes. We're all born apes. We're all born selfish. Selfish.
That's true.
All we want is what we want. We want that clout. I feel you. I feel you, Quinton. We want that clout. We want that status. We want our production value to be high for low effort. We want that. We all want it. Want it easy. Want to eat more from me. Me.
Exactly.
That's the fallen state that we're in. And we got to
There
fight
it is.
against that. We got to work hard. Got to pull ourselves up. Got to become better.
You've changed my mind. I agree with you now.
Yeah, see,
See?
this is why Christianity is so good, because it gets the human psychology right. It gets the psychology right. Like, it doesn't matter that it's not factually
I don't want. It's gonna be.
correct.
I don't want to have that debate.
it's true enough. True
enough. Yeah, okay.
Listen to Peterson. Listen
It's
to
true
the
enough
Peterson.
now. The liberal version of Christianity is true enough now. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Writer John Buck for $2 says Quinton really nails that neck beard aesthetic.
He does. My
He
God.
does. He does.
But he's actually a decent sized YouTuber, and I think there literally is a neck beard aesthetic.
There is. I was thinking that you took the thoughts out of my brain.
I don't think
I
it's
was
a bad thing.
thinking that.
I like the geeks. Are you kidding me? Come on.
I
It's
think there are. I think it's the same thing with like video game streamers. I think a lot of people watch content and they like the idea that like, oh, I could one day make videos like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And look at Quinton. Anyone can make videos like Quinton.
Yeah, exactly. It's doable. It's way doable. Me, you got to tailor your suit. It's like, it's a lot of work, guys. Seriously. Well, actually, my wife was the one that did it, so it wasn't a lot
Your
of work
wife?
for
I was
me.
going to say, you didn't tailor it yourself.
Yeah. My wife dragged me to the suit store, and I was like, okay, we're going to take it in a little bit here. She's like, I basically was on my phone the whole time.
See, here's the thing. If it wasn't for women and your wife, Adam would look like Quinton.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Quinton, you need a woman in your life. I'm telling you, it civilizes men.
Exactly.
It does.
Straighten you up. You know what? It's true. Like I had a terrible fashion sense until one of my girlfriends set me straight. She's like, "What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?"
Man, my first girlfriend was like, no. You got to shave your neck. I was like, really? That's necessary? She's like, yeah. And I was like, ever since then, I'm like, oh yeah, I do. It looks way
There you
better
go.
with it shaved. Just shave your neck, Quinton. It ain't
Just
hard.
shave it.
You didn't. Your first girlfriend, she didn't have the balls to tell you. Mine did.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, that's true. Yeah, I had to wait for girlfriend 3 to set me straight. I had some terrible facial hair that needed to be removed.
Girlfriend 3 was the one that dialed it in. No,
It was the one
Sitch.
that was like, "Look,
Sitch.
what are you doing, Sitch?"
Yeah. Yes.
Zofrats for 20 Donkey Kong dollars says, "Sounds like you need a hug, Sitch. Here's some money. Thank you very much, Zofrats, for the hug money." Zofrats, who is playing in our D&D game, is actually I don't know if I should say this. She wants to make an Adam familiar that she can cuddle with.
Nice. I like it. I got a super fan.
There you go.
I heard there was some dog mounting going on in your game this week. A little bird told me that you mounted a dog.
Okay, wait a minute. CT. I know this comes from CT.
Which doesn't, I don't know. It's
spreading these lies about me.
It sounded
Okay.
kind of, I don't know, weird. Like, why
Okay.
would you mount
Wait a minute.
a
Okay.
dog?
So let me clarify, since Adam is being purposely disingenuous. Okay.
Disingenuous? That's exactly what you said. You said, I will mount the dog.
My character, we're playing. It's funny. We're complaining about Quinton being a big fucking nerd. We're playing fucking D&D, like the nerdiest shit. Actually, no, D&D is not the nerdiest thing of all time. LARPing is the nerdiest thing. D&D is like
Yes.
second place. But anyway, we're playing D&D, and we've been trying to get Adam to play, but he refuses because he doesn't like fun. And my character is a gnome, and gnomes are small enough to ride dogs as actual mounts. Okay. So I mounted and rode a dog, not in a sexual way, you dirty pervert.
My story's better.
Yeah, but it's fake. It's fake news, okay?
I know. There's a reason why fake news works.
Yeah, exactly. That's just a good point. Fabian Cartouche for $10 says the witch hunt angle is key here. SJWs are an establishment-sanctioned foot in the door, normalizing criminalization of heretical views with the justification that they harm the innocent. Exactly. Couldn't said it better myself.
I like that we have such a smart audience. It's great.
I do like our smart audience, and I do like our smart super chatters and our funny super chatters. Hummer Eduardo Rodriguez Madrano for another $5, who I also like because he just gives us so much fucking money.
Man, I love the way you say his name. It's so awesome. It's like
I know he wanted me to only say like he wanted me to shorten it, and I was like, no way.
That's the best name ever.
That full, beautiful, like old Spaniard long last name. I'm gonna say it all.
Eduardo Rodriguez Medrano. Oh, Medrano.
He's like a sword fighter. You could see him. He's like a sword fighter.
Yeah, I can see like a swash with every name.
He's like, this is so racist. You guys are racist.
I will take you out. He's like, yeah, I know.
Now you bring in the racism. Anyway, he says, I used to be in the far right rabbit hole. You and Peterson are the ones that pulled me out.
What?
Contrapoints is the entry to left rabbit hole, not moderation.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
We did it. We did it, Adam. We pulled someone out of the far right rabbit hole. We're heroes.
That's awesome.
Let's pat ourselves on the back. But I am glad, seriously, I am glad that you were able to extricate yourself from getting sucked into the far right, whether it was through me and Adam's beautiful influence or Jordan Peterson, who is more likely the influencing factor.
I've said many times, Jonathan Haidt's the one that completely like pulled me out of the liberal bubble, and man, it was so helpful in that I just don't obsess about politics anymore. I feel sorry for people when I see them really getting frustrated with politics, because it saps up so much of your mental energy that you could just be using in more productive ways. So I feel like,
here's the thing. I don't necessarily agree with that, because emotions are a form of chemical energy that evolution has given us to motivate us.
Right.
So when people get outraged about politics, they're gaining energy from it. They're not losing energy.
Yeah, but they're spending it in unproductive ways.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Like Quinton made this whole video
well, this wasn't unproductive. He's clout chasing. What are you talking about?
Did it work?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think it did, because I had someone tell me that it didn't work. Someone who knows about breadtube people. So.
I would call this a loss. This is like
I would agree.
Yeah.
Critters Buggin for 13.99 Canadian says, in 2018, 26 trans people have been killed in the U.S., most black. Only a few are hate crimes. The majority of violence against trans people happen in places like Brazil and Thailand. HRC.org stats. There you go.
There's that really weird. Did you read about that weird case where the guy was a doctor and he killed the transgender woman after he had sex with her? She didn't tell him that she was formerly a man, and he freaked out and killed her and dismembered her.
Where was this?
I don't know if it was here or in Europe, but
if that happened in America, I think we would have heard about it.
It was such a strange case, because they tried to pin him as a cannibal, and he was adamant about, I did not eat any of her.
Why did they try to make him out as a cannibal?
He dismembered her, put her in the oven to bake and to basically just boil off the water. So I guess because 98 it makes the pieces smaller, I would assume.
I see.
It was
That's
pragmatic.
Yeah,
that's still pretty gross. I mean, he was he's a pre-med surgeon, whatever. So I'm sure he.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, which humans are humans. I don't know that I would feel. I mean, it was like a. I mean, it would be classified as manslaughter, I believe. because
Why was it? No, wait, what? No, it was intentional. What are you talking about?
well, getting rid of the corpse was intentional, but like the murder wasn't premeditated.
Wait, how did? Oh, I don't know the story. I'm assuming I thought when you were telling the story, I thought you were saying that after they had sex, he found out later that she was trans and then
No.
went to purposely kill her because
He
of that.
went out on a date with her, I think, for the first time. Had sex with her. During sex, realized that she was formerly a man, which they didn't like. That's why I was reading the story. I'm like, I'm fascinated by the drama. It's like, what happened? What's going on here? So, and then freaked out and killed her there, like as they were having sex.
That would still be second-degree murder. It wouldn't be manslaughter.
Really?
If first-degree murder is, I believe, and I could be wrong.
Planning it out.
Maybe this
Premeditated.
changes on state level, but my understanding is that usually first-degree murder means, oh, I'm going to kill someone like tomorrow, so here's the plan I'm going to write up, to figure it out. But second-degree murder means you're just there and you think, I'm going to kill this person, and then you do it.
No, okay. Manslaughter
is like an accident, like you hit someone, pedestrian or something.
No, that's involuntary manslaughter. If you come home and catch your wife in bed with somebody and you kill the guy that she's in bed with, that's manslaughter because it's a crime of passion. Yeah, it's not premeditated.
Well,
they got a guy. I was reading this book recently and they were talking about a guy who did something that was like he caught his wife having an affair and he planned out the murder of the guy she was having an affair with. And the jury called it manslaughter, even though he totally planned it out. They were like, crime of passion. Guy was banging his wife.
Okay, well, here we go. Second-degree murder is defined as an intentional killing that was not premeditated.
Oh, okay. So it is murder.
It is distinguished from voluntary manslaughter, which is reserved for crimes committed in a heat of passion.
Okay.
Where the defendant may not have fully understood what he or she was doing.
Okay, so I could have been right. Like, this guy's probably going to mount a manslaughter defense because he's like, look, I was there. I was having sex. I freaked out. I'm straight. I'm not gay.
Yeah, he could make a voluntary manslaughter argument, depending if it all happened so quickly. But
right.
Obviously,
I don't know
we're
how
not saying that makes it better.
Yeah, totally. I'm just, as a human interest story, it's just, I mean, obviously it's awful, like terrible, but so such a terrible
Writer
thing.
John Buck for $5 says Quinton's sound design is actually quite fitting. Sounds like it's being recorded from inside a sewer. There you go. He was going for the sewer aesthetic. That's the theme of his video, Adam. It's like a sewer.
The mom's basement aesthetic. He's nailed it.
Nailed it. Jarful of Love for $5 Aussie bucks says, you guys remind me of me, so I knew you'd like money. You know what? That's what we ascribe to do. We ascribe to remind you of yourself. Because who doesn't love yourself? Because you are right about everything.
What's up with Sitch trying to catch me talking bad stuff on the beginning of the streams, trying to get me online, incriminating myself?
What are we talking about?
Why does he always do
this?
this?
What are you talking about? I didn't try to catch you doing anything.
We talk about racy things before the stream starts, and he always tries to get me on.
No.
He always tries to get me.
No, this is not true. You're just paranoid, okay? You're just paranoid. This isn't true, okay? On a completely different topic, Caffeine Tweaker for another 2 Canadian says, you being taller than me was an optical illusion.
Oh, so the truth comes out. I thought she was shorter than me. I was like, what? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
And it was an optical illusion.
She seems shorter than me.
I don't know. I don't believe. I won't believe it till I can see photographic evidence.
Phalanx is supposedly like 9 feet tall. I don't know.
Well, he's Australian. Don't they like drink like kangaroo milk or something to make you taller?
They have less gravity down there. they have a height advantage. That's true.
Less gravity in Australia. That makes so much sense because it's at the bottom of the planet.
It's logic.
There's less gravity
man.
there.
Come on, it's logic. You obviously don't know how this flat Earth theory works.
It's since it's less gravity, his bones stretch out further when he's growing.
Yeah. Yes,
that makes perfect sense.
Well, he's falling off the Earth, like duh.
Oh no! See, since he's falling off the Earth, the gravity's pulling him off, so that's why he's getting taller. There you go. Patrick Meredith for $4.99 says the blacklist in Hollywood wasn't McCarthy. And he also says for another $4.99, I agree, Sitch, but USSR spies are another thing. Yeah, obviously, look, I agree 100% with the government rooting out actual spies. I completely agree with that. And I don't think anyone disagrees with that. But the Hollywood blacklist was, I don't know if McCarthy created it, but he was definitely feeding the flames of it. He was definitely calling. I mean, look, remember from what was the movie? Trumbo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
with
remember that movie.
Breaking Bad guy in it.
Yep.
He was calling him, or at least his committee, the House on Un-Americans, Actions Committee or whatever, HUAC committee. They were calling non-politicians to talk about whether they're communists or not. So yeah. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's fair to say that McCarthy wasn't involved with the cultural blacklisting of people that were supposedly on the left or supposedly communist.
Yeah.
Pragmatic Culture for $5 says McCarthy held the army trials. He never went after anyone outside the government. HUAC was before him. See Razorfist video in Hollywood. Okay, so maybe I'm maybe I'm uninformed about this.
There you go.
But it's possible. So if that's true, I will revise my statement and say I am anti the HUAC committee doing what they're doing to citizens. But I'm not convinced that I'm wrong about this.
Writer John Buck is saying everyone's saying to go back to the video, but I'm reading the chat and it doesn't seem.
Well, we're almost done. So.
Okay.
The Animal Collective for $4.99 says 60 to 80% quote does come from a think tank, but they were averaging about 10 studies from researchers. I'll try to find it. Yeah. I don't know if it was you, Dan, or someone linked to me recently that same number, and I was looking through the footnotes to try to see where the numbers were coming from, and I saw that there were like a handful of studies that they were averaging out the numbers to get this 60 to 80% number. So
you got
I don't know. I have to really look into it.
You're not like close to done. What are you talking about? Like looking. Sorry to interrupt. Get the study. Boring statistics. Jeez,
boring statistics,
you guys.
Pragmatic Culture for $5 says also everyone HUAC went after was a confirmed Soviet spy after documents from the former USSR were released after they collapsed. FYI, I do not believe that for a second. Pragmatic Culture, I'm sorry, I do not believe that. I'm not going to sit here and believe the idea that the Red Scare in America was justified, because everyone they called before them, all these Hollywood director types and all these Hollywood types they called before them. Now, they were all really USSR spies.
Yeah,
I don't
totally
believe that.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
But I will watch Razorfist video on it to see. Hummer Eduardo Rodriguez Madrano for $2 says, so Sitch is not gay, no offense. No, I'm sorry. I know that I have such a magnetic appeal to all the males out there who just want to get with me, but I'm sorry. I'm not gay.
Why can't you just make someone happy, Sitch? Jeez. Maybe a hand job or something.
What are you, a homophobe? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
Hey, look, if you want to draw my character, doing whatever you want, that's fine with me. I don't care.
Oh no!
Go nuts!
Just unleash the minions.
Go nuts! Go nuts with the fan art, guys. Go free reign here. Writer John Buck for $5 says Sitch is definitely not gay. Not hyphen gay. Had to find a different Starbucks to avoid being hit on by a male employee. I'm glad John Buck remembers that story. I actually had a gay employee at Starbucks who was giving me free drinks. That's what it wasn't that he was hitting on me. It was he was giving me free drinks.
A gentleman caller.
It was, and I felt bad because I'm like, and I told him I didn't. Here's the thing: John Buck is not giving me due credit. I did not ditch the guy. I told him that I'm not gay.
Totally.
So I didn't want him to. See, this is how much of a fucking bleeding heart liberal I am. I didn't want him to feel bad, to like just disappear from an awkward situation. So I made it more awkward by telling him that I'm not gay. So stop giving me free drinks.
I would have bullied him. I would have said, listen, you homo, get back in the closet.
There you go. I should have called him a lispy queer. I should have took the Crowder strategy.
No. You did the right thing.
I did the right. Of course I did, because I'm the most moral man on the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
As I talk about how much Quinton sucks. Daniel Irish for $5 says, you pull people into the far centrist rabbit hole. There you go.
Yeah,
I hope so.
radical centrists.
Jonathan Stoffel, whose name is way too close to Jonathan Stossel, for 199 says, "Guys, can we stop using the gender term manslaughter?"
Yes.
It's true. I
Yes.
haven't heard. Why aren't the feminists complaining with the term
Womanslaughter.
manslaughter?
Woman
I mean,
slaughter.
women can be
That's a
slaughtered
good-
too, right?
They're arguing that's what it is. Woman slaughter.
Writer John Buck for $2 says, "Everyone's saying to go back to the video. 2 more super chat. I'm so sorry. We're so close." Patrick Meredith for 499 says, "House on Un-American Committee. MacArthur was a senator." That's true. There you go.
Yes.
So there's got to
Yes.
be some truth to something here. I'm fucking up my facts, guys. I do apologize, but I still don't believe I just don't believe the communist spy Hollywood angle. Hallucinate for $2 says, "Sitch, are you a bear?" No, I am an otter, and I only know that because one of the girlfriends I dated was very into gay culture because she used to be gay herself. So I would be
Really?
classified as an otter. Yes.
Is that someone that turns gay girls into straight girls?
I wish I could say that I was the one that did that, but she had a boyfriend before me, so
Oh,
I can't
okay.
claim to be the person that turned a lesbian straight.
Is that what an otter is?
No, an otter is a skinny.
I don't want to
guy
know. No,
who
I don't
is-
want to know. I don't want to. Don't tell me.
There you go. Because like a bear is like a big guy.
No, I know. Yeah, the bears.
Yeah, and I'm not a big guy at all. So anyway, now that we've talked firmly about gay culture and how attractive I am, let's get back to the video. Let's get back to something not attractive.
Is
Let's keep the ad hominems high.
Is Quinton a bear? He looks like he might be.
Yeah, I guess Quentin would be classified as a bear because he's like a big hairy guy. So, anyways,
Essentially, imagine if you lived in a world where for every topic you ever wanted to discover more about in your youth, the person who explained it to you was Leafy is here,
what?
saying that the other side of the debate is just better at winning in the
Oh, now we're the equivalent of Leafy is here.
Yeah, didn't you know that?
This is insane.
When
This is
we talk about-
insanity. Insanity.
When we talk about political ideas and stuff like that, no, we're just Leafy making fun of like a 13-year-old child.
Hey, look at this big fat guy here. Look, he's like he looks like he just ate like a whole dozen donuts all by himself.
Guys, did you hear that? Leafy just joined the stream. Oh my god.
Look at this. Look at this.
I didn't
guy's-
know this.
Look at this guy's goofy glasses. Jeez, he's like totally an idiot.
So Leafy, where have you been? I thought you'd been gone like that. I
Dude,
thought you left
Leafy's
YouTube.
like rolling in the money. Leafy's. I looked at Leafy's views one time and I was like, yeah, this guy made like $1 million last week.
He's still.
think his vi-
I thought he was gone. I didn't know he was.
Oh,
on
he's
YouTube
totally
making-
gone, but his channel still rakes in views. I don't know if those are
hilarious.
monetized views, but man,
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
he's like off the charts. Like he retired.
people-
He made fun of the kids and moved on. Like now he owns a chain of restaurants.
He owns a chain of barbershops to hide his lack of a chin. Hey.
marketplace of ideals is inherently dishonest, because in many cases, that side is the only side that's being promoted.
Wait.
Yeah,
wait,
what?
Wait, shaking, buddy boy. Hold your horses.
Was Leafy is here, saying that the other side of the debate is just better at winning in the marketplace of ideals is inherently dishonest, because in many cases, that side is the only side that's being promoted.
Okay, so he thinks that the
Yeah.
anti-SJW and the right is the only position that's being promoted in America.
Yeah,
Just let that
Bonkers.
sink in.
yeah. Evidence doesn't really bear that out.
No. When all of mainstream media is fairly left wing, I don't know what the fuck Quentin's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Turn on
It's-
CNN sometime.
Right. And I said this before. It's before the SJW stuff. Almost every space on the internet was dominated by left-wing liberals.
Yeah, big time.
And then when the Fire Nation attacked, and then when the SJW Nation attacked, everything started to switch. They literally created this movement that they hate.
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
refuse to accept. That's the thing. Quentin and these people refuse to accept responsibility for creating this monster that they don't like.
Yeah, that reminds me. Karen Stinner followed me on Twitter. I mentioned her many times. She's the one that wrote The Authoritarian Dynamic. She's the one that
Cool.
basically did the research that shows that the left is the one that's activating all of these authoritarians in public.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's not just my opinion. We have facts.
Yes.
We have research.
Yeah. Read Karen Stonner, The Authoritarian Dynamic, man. It's,
there it is.
It's all, she's done all the research, man. It's black and white.
She knows the numbers.
She's a lefty liberal too, so.
For the longest time, when I Googled trans, I didn't get intelligent news reports or scientific studies or perspectives of trans people or even people who knew trans people. I got a 5'2" middle-aged Lego man at some college campus going out of his way to confuse his audience into not being able to respond to his arguments, which frankly didn't make any sense.
Okay, so I don't believe this for a second.
Yeah, me neither. You should Google it right now. Just
because as someone who has done lots of, I did videos about gender dysphoria, and I've been interested in the topic for many years and done research on it throughout the years. This is a complete fabrication. Like maybe if you typed in trans on YouTube, like back before the algorithm changes, you'd only see like Ben Shapiro owns liberal videos, but on Google, that's a complete lie.
yes. Maybe he was like, right-wing reactionary trans hater. That's what I Googled, and this is what I got.
I can't believe all these fucking Ben Shapiro videos came up when I typed that in.
Yeah.
Why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just...
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize...
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Wow. You can't change your
That
birthday.
is a great video. He did destroy her. I love that one.
I'm curious. I don't know. I don't like Ben Shapiro, but I don't necessarily disagree with what he just said.
I hated his book. I totally hated his book, but like he puts good arguments for it, but he's the right wing echo chamber.
Yeah, he's a right wing bubble.
Yeah.
So you can't change your gender. Left wing destroyed. Debating the way Ben Shapiro does is the intellectual equivalent of starting an argument.
Okay, so I haven't seen this part. Is he actually gonna like say why Ben Shapiro's wrong, or is he just gonna like insult him?
No, it's just ad hom. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
Just
all they
making
do is character assassination. That's all they know how to do.
Right.
Yeah.
With someone and then pointing a laser pointer in their face so they're too distracted to respond, and then turning to a third person and saying, "See, their argument doesn't even make sense." I mean, I don't even have to tell you.
That's not what I mean. First of all, Ben Shapiro, I will agree, does not debate in good faith lots of the time, because he who's the guy that does all the? Someone did a video about this. I think it was Charisma on Command or something, or was it someone else?
Charisma
who talked about how
Command?
Ben Shapiro would put, what's it called? He would put he'd start the arguments off like incorrectly.
Yeah, how he cheats. He's like, Ben Shapiro's a cheater, but it works. I remember that video.
There's a name for it. I'm totally spacing.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's a specific tactic that he would use where he'd put like his arguments, he'd frame his arguments as whatever.
Sneaking in a premise.
What'd you say?
Sneaking in a premise.
Yes, he would sneak his premise into his
arguments. He would. He's a sneak.
Ben Shapiro does do
he's
that.
a premise sneaker.
Right. But he didn't, I would not say that him comparing gender to age. Now look, you can disagree with that and say, you can make arguments for why that's not appropriate, but that's not sneaking a premise in.
No, not at all.
He's just making a comparison.
Yep.
That Ben Shapiro argues in bad faith because it's his own explanation of what he tries to do.
So the only other reason that you should ever have a conversation...
See, I hate that argument because no one ever argues in bad faith. Do you think someone...
Few people, very few people.
Yeah, very few people. Well, who do you think argues in bad faith? I mean, maybe Contra?
No. I think like Candace Owens and people like that.
Yeah, you go. Candace
people
Owens
who
is a tough
people
one,
who go out there. on the left and the right, and they say super incendiary things in order to draw attention to them.
When they really don't give a shit.
When they don't care or their views are more nuanced. That is
Totally. Yeah.
They're existing in bad faith.
Most people do arguing. Like,
I agree.
The idea that we're swimming in people arguing in bad faith that are just making shit up because, like, especially when they're adopting arguments that are so painfully bad. It's like, why would you argue that in bad faith if you don't give a shit? At least pick an argument where you're going to win.
Yeah, but if he labels Ben Shapiro's arguing in bad faith, then he doesn't have to spend the time debunking it.
Yeah, exactly. Then he can just ignore it. It's just bad faith.
Exactly. That's what they always do. And I've seen this clip that Ben Shapiro, that he's about to play, and I don't like it either. But it's Ben Shapiro talking about, like, the point of a public debate is to destroy the other person.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I don't agree with that. I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree with that. But that's not bad faith. That's just being like, it's like just having a dark strategy.
Yeah, wanting to win.
Because bad faith means you're being dishonest. And I don't agree with lots of things Ben Shapiro does, and I don't like his thinking on debating, but I don't think he is being internally dishonest himself.
There's more bad faith in people mischaracterizing the opposition's argument and knowing that they're doing that than there is, making up an argument on their side that they don't actually fully believe in. I do think people mischaracterize their arguments and are like, I know he really doesn't believe that, but watch this.
Right.
I hate
bad
that
faith.
shit.
Bad faith is when you have the squirrel on Twitter like cut a Jordan Peterson video.
Oh, exactly.
And she'll cut like right before he says the thing that disproves what her point wants to be.
Yeah. How do you know that's a she? How do you know the squirrel's a she?
I'm assuming the squirrel's a she.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if she is. That's my impression.
Huh.
It could be. It's a squirrel. It's a genderless squirrel. It's an actual squirrel. It's not a human being.
Sexist pig.
Or be friends with anyone on the left is, and not even be friends, is if you are in public in front of a large audience and then your goal is to humiliate them as badly as possible. That is the goal of the conversation. The goal is not to convince the person. The goal is not to make friends with that person. The conversations that are going to make the most difference on campus are the ones where you're in public in front of large groups of people or with a camera nearby, and your goal then is to make these people look as bad as possible.
The difference between Contrapoints and Ben Shapiro is that Contrapoints argues for the sake of helping the other side and the uninformed understand the topics.
I know. Moment of silence for this idiocy.
This is like the perfect picture of living so far up your own ass bubble.
Yeah.
That you're just so blind. Contra does the same thing Ben Shapiro does.
Exactly.
Let's be real here.
Two sides of the same coin, man. Contra probably calls up Ben Shapiro on the weekend and they have a laugh about this shit.
I don't know about that, but.
And Ben Shapiro makes arguments for the sake of confusing the other side to convince the uninformed that his argument is exclusively the only one that makes.
Okay, see, is Quinton stupid, or is he stupid or being malicious? Does he not understand when Ben Shapiro what he said in that clip? He's providing a strategy for persuasion. Okay, yes. He's not saying that you should lie. He's saying you should destroy a person.
Yes.
Where does he say he's confusing people or lying to them?
Yes, totally. Yes, he's saying a strategy. Yes, it's perfectly crystal clear. I just think it's hilarious too when they talk about the poor uninformed people when they are the uninformed people. It's hilarious. It's so hilarious. All these poor uninformed people, if we could only inform them of our fake narrative, like fake truth.
Right.
Yeah.
And where are the disaffected, males supposed to go when you have, Contra, who's supposed to be helping them, is insulting them. Insulting them for 10 minutes in your fucking incel video.
Stefan Molyneux's channel, man. That's where they go. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's laughable that
the rest of WokeTube is attacking all white males as causing original sin based on their skin color. And where are they going to go? They're going to go to fucking Stefan Molyneux and other assholes.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the whole fucking point.
Makes sense. That's why when someone in his own party simply asked him to explain his perspective, he threw a hissy fit, called them a liberal, and stormed out of their
Quinton just said, well, first of all, I agree that Ben Shapiro did very poorly in that debate. And there's a good video, there's a good YouTube video about that.
He apologized to the guy.
And he did apologize.
Yeah,
He did
and
apologize.
said it was a mistake. Like,
Right.
when has anyone on the left done that?
That's a good point. They haven't, because they would just call the person racist. But,
yeah, exactly.
But did you notice Quinton said someone in Ben Shapiro's own party? Okay. Ben Shapiro's being interviewed by someone in the BBC who's British.
Yes.
What the fuck's he talking about? So just because some guy in England is conservative and Ben Shapiro is conservative in America, this is how his mind works. He conflates all conservatives as being some part of some global political party that all have the same views about everything.
Yeah. They're all out to get Contra, and Quinton is going to save. Quinton is going to save her.
He's going to save her. Got this.
Show. In the same way that a baby has a low tolerance for pain, Ben Shapiro has a low tolerance for actual discourse.
Okay, wait a minute. This is that's stupid.
Yeah,
okay,
that's bullshit.
Because as much as I don't think Ben Shapiro handled himself well in that interview. If you've seen that interview, that interviewer was not having an honest conversation with Ben Shapiro. He was purposely attacking him in crazy ways and asking him like, when's the last time you beat your wife kinds of questions.
Oh man, we're going to totally disagree. That interview was killing it. Are you really?
You don't think no, wait. What's your I'm not talking about he's not killing it like he was performing well, but he wasn't asking honest questions.
I thought he was doing awesome.
Like the second question he asked is like, how can you believe such awful conservative policies that are like so inhuman or monstrous? Like that's the way the guy framed the question to him.
Oh, I just remember the guy being like, if you knew who I was, you wouldn't be saying this, you dumbass. Like the guy...
he was asking very leading questions.
Okay, I don't remember the interview perfectly, but I do remember thinking, yeah, Ben Shapiro's getting stomped here, and it's awesome. It's totally awesome.
Well, it's funny that Quinton, the irony of this is that Quinton has a clip of Ben Shapiro saying that you have to destroy people publicly, and he's criticizing that. And then he's praising a BBC interviewer who obviously went into this interview with the intention of destroying Ben Shapiro for views, and he's praising that.
Yeah, he's in the media. He's like, yeah, I know how it's done. Got to destroy him.
Okay.
There's a reason why 75% of my titles have the word destroy in them. The algorithm loves that word destroy, man.
Yep.
Oh,
but just it really shines a light on Quinton's hypocrisy and how unself-aware he is.
I wonder if we could deprogram him.
Not after this video.
Nah, he hates our guts. It's okay.
He saw my, just based on seeing my channel alone, he already hated me. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
You forgot. So.
And I'm the guy that didn't want to take the picture with him, so.
Ugh.
And that's why the other side seems so hesitant to attack Natalie or to even mention her. There's no single sentence witty comeback that universally destroys a Contrapoints video. There's no way to pause her or cut her up.
Oh, that's so bad.
First of all, I'm pretty sure we did do a Contrapoints Jordan Peterson video. But
yeah, maybe, but trans people they're forbidden. Like, are you kidding me? Like, why does anyone want to take a bite out of that? What's that?
You think people are not responding to Contra because they're afraid of the transphobe label?
I think it factors in, definitely. And like a bigger factor is the fact that there's really not much substance there to attack.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's both.
Yeah. I think Quinton's saying Contra's just too smart and intelligent to respond to, which first of all is bullshit because anyone could respond to anyone in a dishonest fashion. So,
yes. Yeah.
But I think the real reason that most people don't respond to Contra, and lots of people ask us to constantly do Contra videos, is because, as you said, one, there's actually, when you really break down what Contra's saying, there's often very little substance. It's often these videos never come to clear conclusions, and Contra is very carefully couching her words in a way to prevent people from responding to her videos.
Yeah.
And keep everything open-ended.
It can
That's
go
why
either
people
way.
don't respond to Contra.
Yeah, it's like a Rorschach ink blot test. It's
exactly.
Like you watch it, you believe whatever you want to believe. Subscribe to my channel. hit the notifications.
Look
You
at
know.
my good video production values and my good aesthetic.
Yep.
Subscribe to the channel.
Up or put her out of context and misrepresent her arguments. And even if you could pull that off, it would only end with your fans actually watching her, and then they wouldn't be your fans anymore because her content is actually good.
Quentin is so in the bubble. He thinks that if someone, especially if some like very right wing people did response videos to Contra, that their very right wing fans would be miraculously
totally.
changed into liberals by Contrapoint.
No, they'd be authoritarians voting for the next Adolf Hitler. Are you kidding me? I don't understand how Contra doesn't make people who have that inclination even 10 times worse. That's why this just seems laughable to me.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, you're
who's
talking
she pulling?
about the like people that have the inclination against change or against trans people. Or
Yeah,
anything like
totally.
That. They're gonna see Contrapoint and they're gonna run for the hills.
They're gonna say society's falling apart. Are you kidding me?
Right.
We need a strong man that will whip this into shape. We need to seal the borders. We need to give everything to the military. We need to invade some of these countries.
See, there you go. See, the broke opinion is that Contrapoints is changing alt-righters into good liberals, but the woke opinion is that Contrapoints is turning conservatives into Nazis.
Yeah, that's Karen Stinner's research. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting it right by your analogy, but Karen Stinner says 30% of the Republican Party is latent authoritarians that are activated by we've misread authoritarians. Authoritarians are really quite mellow as long as the environment is cool. Like they don't perceive that the ship is.
You mean people that have authoritarian tendencies?
The authoritarians are society's immune system. When they sense that society is falling apart, that social norms are on the decline, and that we're on the verge of falling into anarchy, they activate. They say no. We're going to stabilize society, and the way that they stabilize society is these authoritarian right wing super oppressive regimes. Like anarchy is on one side of the continuum and fascism is on the other side of the continuum. Like one is super authority, the other is no authority. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Do you think Contrapoints what do you think Contrapoints activates in these people?
I know, I agree. I think Contrapoints does. I would imagine, I don't know for a fact, but I would imagine that Contrapoints is activating more authoritarians than she's saving.
Yeah. Yes. What do you think? Like someone that just has this I just look at her and I think, well, I'm an artist. I've been a liberal my whole life. Like I like the aesthetic, but I can see it through other people's eyes who are not necessarily that's scary to them.
Right.
Yeah. But Quinton is sitting here saying that those people who see that as scary are all of a sudden, they're going to join the woke cause.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's like everyone always shares that picture of there's some, I don't think she was trans. I think she's just a drag queen, or he, I guess, was a drag queen of this drag queen who's reading stories to kids in the library.
Oh yeah.
And they're dressed up like they're not just a drag queen. They're like dressed up like a demon drag
They're
queen.
terrifying.
Yeah, they look like they look like they're supposed to be some kind of satanic figure. And I'm not, this isn't my opinion. They say that's the point, is to kind of appear with this weird demonic Satan look. And every fucking person that's like the poster child of what you're talking about, of just activating people. They see this picture and they go, what the fuck?
Yes, exactly. They're like, I'm voting for Trump. This is Karen Stinner's argument this is why Trump got elected, because the left went so far off the reservation with the transgender stuff that it's just activating these people right and left. So she's actually putting evidence to this argument.
Right.
I mean, Quentin's just talking in his basement here.
I would think that's a factor. I don't know if I would say that's the primary factor.
Well, this transgender stuff is really, I mean, you got to admit, maybe how long ago? Because I mean, this is hitting mainstream culture now. Like, you're a mom and a dad now. All of a sudden, your kid's coming home telling you that they learned about transgender in school, and you're going, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, now this is going to affect me. Like, now I'm not allowed to tell my kid that.
Well, I guess I don't know how widespread I don't think it's widespread enough to have been the primary factor to get Trump elected.
Yeah. Yeah, no, obviously there's multiple factors and got Trump elected, but
it didn't help. Let's leave it at that.
You know, I don't know that I completely buy Karen Stenner's argument on Trump either. So, because I think Trump, there's a lot of things going on with Trump, but but I do understand, like the Faraday Speaks guy. He was a progressive all along. What are you talking about? I don't understand I don't think they understand the forces that we're playing with in society here.
No, well, no one understands. I mean, except for us, no one else understands the forces, right?
Yes, yes.
It's just us, Karen Stenner, Jordan Peterson, and Jonathan Haidt.
Yeah.
And anyone that agrees with us. Everyone else, they don't understand anything.
Yes.
I wanted to highlight what is, in my opinion, the best example of a bad commentary channel trying to epically destroy Natalie.
It's Sitch. It's Sitch. Is it us? Is it our video?
Is it our video?
It's called Why Contrapoints is the New Anita Sarkeesian.
Okay.
Honey,
how is that in the video?
It's 2019. Get a new boogeyman.
How is what in the video?
That's the one thing I totally agree with Quinton on. Like, nobody knows who Anita Sarkeesian is. Like, get a new boogeyman.
That's true. People don't care about her anymore.
He is right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That was a Prince of Queens video. I saw it like whenever it came out. I don't remember.
Oh, really? I like that video.
Yeah. I don't remember what the points were, but Quinton is being homophobe, right? Calling a gay guy honey. That seems very offensive to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Prince is gay. Come on, get out of here.
Right? Aren't you offended? I'm offended.
I'm offended for Prince.
The internet has become a dark, infected place, which has the power.
Which I'm helping cultivate every day with my terrible opinions.
Me too. You're talking about him. I thought you were talking about him.
Hard to both entertain and indoctrinate.
Oh no.
And
indoctrination speech.
Like, because he was really upset about PewDiePie having he had some clip of Ben Shapiro was on one of his shows, because there was some Ben Shapiro memes that were like blowing up everywhere. And Quinton really got angry about this.
Really?
Yeah, because he's saying like, oh, you're showing Ben Shapiro in a positive light to like a bunch of people that would never normally see him, which is true to some degree. But I think my take on it is, if you show all these people as fallible humans, that's better than trying to portray them as evil monsters.
Yeah, totally.
If you don't want people to follow them.
Yeah, portray them as boring. You'll get a lot further.
Because, well, even not boring, even just as like a human being that you agree with some things they say and disagree with some things they say. Because it's like when you portray people as, oh, this is the evil monster and no one should listen to them, and then the person goes and listens to them because that sounds exciting. Everyone wants to hear what the evil monster is saying, right? Like
totally.
There's no way to not get someone to click a video faster than to label them evil.
This is the rise of Jordan Peterson, right?
Right, exactly. So then someone clicks on the Ben Shapiro video, and then they listen to him, and maybe they agree with some of what he's saying, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, if he's not the evil monster, maybe everything he's saying is right. Maybe this person that called him a monster is fucking wrong.
Yep.
So no, I disagree completely.
For us to have any chance of fixing this, to have any possibility of making the internet anything more than a burning dumpster fire.
You know, it's hilarious. Before the SJW stuff, when the internet was still primarily liberal, there was still like a burning dumpster fire of people shitting on each other.
Oh, definitely. Do you
but
remember
no
your
one cared
Do you
because it
remember
was
the first?
liberal.
Do you remember the first comment that like triggered you?
On one of my videos?
Just on the internet, like in
Oh,
general.
I don't know. I have no.
Really?
No.
Oh,
Why would I
God.
remember something like that?
Because it's funny. It's this brand new thing, and all of a sudden it's like, who are
Well,
these fucking people? Like, what the fuck?
It's like anyone who's in their mid to late 20s or 30s who grew up playing video games before the SJW shit.
Mhm.
Like they remember, like people were
Oh, yeah,
always
definitely.
terrible gaming assholes to
Totally.
each other.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, from the beginning. And so to act like, all of a sudden this all just came out, and it's like, no. A bunch of sensitive people came out all of a sudden, and they didn't like it.
Yeah,
That people were being mean to them in video games. They couldn't handle it.
Exactly. They're like, this is our culture. What are you talking about?
And it's so funny because it's like, before all the SJW stuff happened, I never found like edgy racist jokes funny. I only started to find them funny when they became taboo. And that's what I'm trying to like instill in these fucking morons. The more they complain about people trolling and the more they try to outlaw this stuff, that makes it more appealing to these people.
Yes. Makes it more powerful.
It's literally the first fucking story in the Bible. Okay, let's bring Jesus into this. Well, I guess it's before Jesus because we're talking about the Old Testament. Let's bring some God into this. The first fucking story, the first narrative story after the creation of the universe.
The apple?
Okay, is God saying you can do whatever you want, but don't do the one fucking thing. And what do the people immediately do? The one thing that they're not.
I'm telling you, man, Christianity gets the psychology right. It totally gets the psychology right.
Story.
Well, it gets the psychology right. Like any religion that gets the psychology right is going to have a massive advantage over some religion that doesn't get the psychology right. Like you immediately know you're like,
exactly.
As soon as he says, "But don't touch this," you think, I'm going to eat that motherfucking apple.
If you've ever interacted with a baby or a small child, you know this. Because you tell them not to do something, and that's the second you turn away, that's what they're going to do.
There's this great clip of Jonathan Haidt. He's speaking to he's like at the some libertarian forum or something like that. And they have this huge data set on libertarians. And one of the questions that all the libertarians answer yes on is, when I hear somebody tell me something that I can't do, it makes me think I'm going to do that. And all the libertarians answered, yeah, exactly. That's me.
Yep.
So funny.
There's something you have to do.
You know what? You were completely right when you said you have to make it boring, because before the SJW stuff, like being racist was like, okay, like you're an old man from like the 1950s.
Exactly. Archie Bunker. Boring.
Right.
Boring.
Exactly. You're a boring old man. And now that like they became so on the other direction, the woke side has made it edgy and fun again.
Yep.
Good job, WokeTube. Good job.
You have to subscribe to Contrapoints.
Oh my God.
And you can't just stop there. You have to bring Contra to your friends, your family, your enemies, everyone. Show it to your teachers, your crush, your weird uncle who makes you uncomfortable at family get-togethers. Print it on a cake. Put posters around your town. Scribble it on the side of an egg before slamming it on the head of your local fascist. Because Contrapoints...
This is supposed to be a subscribe to PewDiePie thing, right?
This is what?
That egg thing, I think, activates authoritarians too, all the way.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You shouldn't be calling for people to assault people.
Yes. Yeah,
totally. But beyond that, it's so funny. This is, if he's trying to win people over who wouldn't like Contrapoints, like he's so out of it. This is like, they'd all be like, wow, this is stereotypical cuck behavior right here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of all the people. I'm trying to think of if I even know a person that if I showed a Contrapoints video to, they wouldn't like look at me like, what are you doing? Like, what is this shit? Like, what the fuck? Why'd you do this to me? Like, what's going on here? What the fuck does this even mean? Like, seriously, I don't know about you, but like my friend circle would be, they would be bewildered. be completely. They'd think I turned on them or something. They'd be confused and disillusioned with me as a human being.
What are you doing to us, Adam? We're having
I mean,
a nice game of
not-
backgammon here. What are you
like-
doing? You bringing this? What is this? A drag queen? Will you bring it to our nice home? We're trying to have a pizza
See, I knew
pie.
you were. See, I knew you were thinking that, but like
For some reason, all of Adam's friends are like Italian gangsters.
my friend circle is woker than woke. I'm serious. Like
Really?
I live in Los Angeles. Like
That's
I've worked in the movie industry. Like I'm surrounded by wokeness. Okay.
Mhm.
All of those woke people would still look at me funny. Like, what is this? like seriously. I think Contrapoints is several levels beyond. I mean, first of all, I think of it as like it's kid stuff. It's really kid stuff.
Right.
Like the adults are not going to look at that and think, "Oh, this is really stimulating intellectual content here." Come on now. I'm just saying, in my friend circle, this is like the advice that Quinton is giving here is the way to lose friends, not to win friends. So, but
You're
anyway.
saying your friend group, your circle of friends, is too smart for ContraPoints.
Do
is
you?
what you're saying.
I'm curious. Like, what would you talked about your grandma on the other stream? What happens if you send this video to grandma? Like, what happens? What does she say? You talked to your mom about.
I talked to I remember I talked about my grandmother watching Fox News. You think my grandmother complaining about AOC because she watches Fox News, she's gonna see a ContraPoints video? I could. Oh my god! I kind of want to
do
film
it.
it.
Just
She'd
for
have like the
yeah.
best reaction. Her eyes would just go wide, and she just slowly turn to me and be like, what are you doing? What is this?
Just ask her if you can record her. Say you're thinking of making a YouTube video. You're curious. You want to get her reaction on this, and just throw a recorder in front of her. Because I bet you hear gasping.
Look, it would be very funny. But to as much as I hate to say these words, to be fair to Quinton, he's not talking about old people. He's talking about young people.
Nah, you're right. I'm an old timer. Yes.
We're old men, okay?
But fuck you, seriously. Because I have nieces and nephews, and if I showed them this stuff, they'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like, it would be even worse. Are you kidding me?
That's true. That's probably true.
Those kids are smart, man. They would eat me alive if I sent them that shit.
Like my friend group, they all know who. I mean, they're all around. Or people that I hang out with are my age or younger. They know who ContraPoints is, but they're not fans. They don't like ContraPoints videos. So
yeah, totally.
And it's not like I hang out with a bunch of like super right wing people either. So
yeah, exactly. Come on,
a bunch of liberals. So
yeah, I stand by.
Okay.
I stand by that. This is just bad advice. This is bad advice all around.
Contra isn't convincing anyone. I'm sure there's some people. Contra's not convincing most people to switch sides, but she's a good poster child for them to hold up, to represent.
To
their
pretend that she's swaying people over, and good old Faraday Speaks comes out and says, "Yes, I'll play that role. I'll be the one person that she convinced. Just put me in the New York Times and I'll do it.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready."
Exactly.
I always come back. It's so funny to that. ContraPoints talking to Ezra Klein saying that she resents this narrative.
Oh my God. And my mind explodes every time you say those two names together.
It's hilarious because she frames it in the wokest way possible too. She says like, "Oh, it's like I'm making content for white males." She's like, "No, I'm making content for like LGBT women."
Really?
Yeah. She even says, she confirms that the majority of her audience is like not straight white males.
Yeah. Oh,
obviously.
God.
Yeah. So
Ezra didn't put that one together himself. Come on.
It's funny because after she says that, I don't think Ezra like responds to it. He just
Really?
like moves on. He's like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna touch that one."
Ezra just like reeks of elitism to me. Like I can't.
Yes.
Yeah, it's dripping out of him. I don't know that I could actually listen to this stream without committing suicide.
Without me here yelling at it.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's not that interesting because I was listening to it because I thought, oh, maybe we could stream on this, but it's not interesting enough to stream on.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
I'm not going to tune in.
Yeah, I occasionally troll the Ezra Klein streams to see if there's any worthy material.
I lament over Contra's voice because Contra had such a great voice as a man, such a great voice.
Really?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think voices are important, especially in YouTube. So
I agree with you, which is why I hate my voice. But
No,
I
your
don't think
voice is-
Contra had
your
a
voice is-
particularly good voice or anything.
your voice is great. I don't know. You're like being hard on yourself.
Next
You
to
have a lot of-
you,
a lot of
Jesus, you have, like
versatility.
the smooth,
Well, not
that
every-
smooth, silksy, deep, resonant voice.
Not everyone can be me. Okay.
Yeah, I know. When are you gonna start doing ASMR, Adam?
Someday.
Has the power to save.
You could do World Foundation Theory ASMR. Oh my god, I want that so bad. Adam, you gotta do it.
My acting teacher said, like, if you ever want to work in radio, she's like, you got the perfect voice. Like, she stopped class, like, oh my
You
god.
do have
this-
a perfect radio voice.
I did some radio for a while, but not being able to read really hurts you in that arena. When you, because every time I read, I sound like a Riri. Like, I don't sound smart. Like, it all goes out the window.
It's true, Adam. Being illiterate does hurt you, and you
It
have
does
to read
hurt.
things on
It
the
does, yeah.
radio.
Especially when every audition you go on is based on cold reading, and I just suck. I suck at it. It's all because of dyslexia. I blame my disability.
I had. No, I'm not gonna tell the story, but let's keep going.
Save people. And if we can bring that power to the masses, then we all win. I'm just realizing as I film.
The power of Contra to the masses.
We all win. Yeah. Yes.
What's that famous like music video with like the woman in like the tracksuit, the jogger suit? She's like running with like she like throws the hammer through the TV, like
Yeah,
the big
it's-
face.
The Mac Apple video,
Oh, it's an Apple. It's an Apple.
1984.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to see that commercial, but it's Quinton. And he's got
Contrapoints?
Contra. He's like throwing Contra through like the screen.
Oh my god.
He's
That'd be
like, Contra
hilarious.
will save all humanity.
You should have-
What is humanity being saved from, Quinton?
Exactly. You should have Sargon on the screen, like Sargon just talking his right-wing authoritarian message.
No,
and
it
then
would have to be
Contrapoints.
Trump. It had to be Trump.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
Sargon's
telling you,
like the
Trump
little
made
Trump.
people crazy. Made people more crazy.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Film this, that this video is probably going to be my most intellectually upfront and honest video I've done in a while. I mean, it's not that I've been lying in my content, but it's more that I've been taking a huge piece of my personality and sort of putting it on simmer for about 6 months.
Yeah. Media class. Media class. Guys, never say, "Oh, it's not like I'm lying." You don't want those words to come out of your mouth, okay?
Look, I'm not lying. I just haven't been telling you my honest opinion.
Look, it's not like I've been lying to you for your entire life, but subscribe.
And for like this is a lie because
Yeah.
he said in a video fucking randomly. I don't remember which one it was. It was like what got everyone to start criticizing him. He randomly said, "I fucking hate Trump," and he went on like an anti-Trump rant.
Really?
But it was like he was talking about like a movie or TV show that had nothing to do with politics. It like came out of
Really?
left field.
Huh.
Yeah. And he was criticizing Ben Shapiro. And he's been, especially on Twitter, he was like going crazy for a while. So this idea that oh, Quinton has just been living this anti-SJW life for so long and is now coming clean thanks to Contrapoints. Like this is a total fabrication.
Yeah.
I think
Tribalism.
you were right about him. He was trying to, grab on the Faraday train.
It's so funny because he's accusing everyone of being in it for the money. Then he's,
And he's the one that's like, I gotta get this video out real quick before VidCon.
I don't do this for the money, man. I do this to hang out with you once a week. This is
That's
like-
true.
this
Who
is
wouldn't
a
want to hang out with
blast.
me
Are you
once a
kidding
week?
me? Well, you want me to hang out twice a week because you want me to play D&D with you, but I got deep fakes to make, man.
I know how terrible it is. I'm like, Adam, come hang out with us. He's like,
You want to know seriously, because he's talking about this politics stuff, being a money train.
Mhm.
Deep fakes are a money train, dude. Blowing shit up is a money train. Okay, like
yeah, how many
People-
videos did your blowing? How many views did your
yeah,
blowing shit up video
exactly.
get?
6, almost 7 million views. Yeah, come on, dude. Like we're talking about politics because it's fun. And also like you and I are bleeding hearts. Like we want to dial it back. We want people not to be it hurts people to go to sleep at night thinking that they're living on the verge of the next Holocaust. That's not a comfortable way to be.
No.
And if it's not based in fact, it's totally unhealthy. And if it's not based in, like, you're being led around on a leash by politicians who just want you to show up and vote. Like, seriously, the guy who published the Trump voters, like, he wants you angry because he wants you at the polls so he can stay in power. Oh, how amazing. It totally benefits him at your expense. Like, you're the one losing years off of your life. Your hair's turning gray. You're like, you know, totally unmotivated to do anything productive because why would you? Like, the world is against you. It's so bad. It's so bad. All so some elitist scumbag can stay in office. Like, seriously, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, people. Everyone just needs to relax.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless you're us making fun of someone. Just relax.
Yes. Yeah. This is how we relax.
Months, you know, just putting little Easter eggs and little references here and there. But I guess this one's pretty mask off.
Wait a minute.
A huge piece of my personality and sort of putting it on simmer for about 6 months. You know, just putting little Easter eggs.
Yeah, what are we saying?
What video? I mean, what book is that?
I think it's a book behind the book there.
That's what I'm saying. What book is that?
I don't know.
It's not Karl Marx's face, right? He doesn't look like that.
No, it's not Karl Marx.
I don't know who that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Eggs and little references.
Yeah, who's this? The Revolution. He's like, oh,
Chapo?
the Chapo Trap
Chapo
House.
guy?
He's,
Look at Chapo Trap
my
House.
God. He's like, I could be Chapo Trap House raking in the cash.
Oh my God. So this is Quinton coming out as full commie, right?
Yeah, totally. He's like, I
mean,
want some of that Trapo money.
Because that's not even a straw man. Chapo Trap House is full commie, right?
I don't know. I don't watch their content, but they're
like
total
that's their
tribalists.
appeal.
I like their Patreon. It's freaking huge. I mean, come on. I'm not seriously.
Those communists that make like $50,000 a month, you know, it's pure communism.
They're raking in the trust fund kids.
Yep. So this is Quinton. So I guess here's what Quinton meant when he said, you know, even though he was talking about how much he hates Trump and Ben Shapiro, he was hiding a part of his personality. He was hiding that he's really a communist.
So funny.
And see, we talked about this, I think, a little bit last time. This is what the right needs to look out for, because, and if I had a YouTube channel, like, you know, in 2012 or whenever, when I had these thoughts, when I had my brilliant thoughts about this, was that I knew that more and more kids were going to become further and further left and become communist, because the right was unwilling whatsoever to regulate anything and to kept the more you, it's kind of like we're saying the SJWs created the backlash to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the right has kind of also created the communist backlash to themselves because of their steadfast refusal to be moderate for the last 10 or 20 years when it comes to economic policy.
Yeah, but I see. I mean, I think rank and file conservatives are with us on it being a class issue. Like, I don't think rank and file conservatives didn't want to regulate after the housing crash. I mean, they were the ones chanting like,
that's not true. There's a whole Tea Party. There's a whole thing of the Tea Party. They wanted no taxes. They wanted no regulations. Those were all the things. The government regulations, the government taxes was what caused the problem in the first place.
How much of the Tea Party? Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think that's the thing.
That's a complicated argument, and you never made your housing.
I never made my housing crash video.
So
it is a complicated argument, but the Tea Party ended up taking over the Republican Party, in my opinion.
Right. Okay.
And what people forget, that who are only been activated by politics now, is that when Obama was president, conservatives looked at Obama the way liberals look at Trump right now.
Totally. Yeah. No, that's true.
I mean, there's the reason there's that Key and Peele sketch of Obama.
That's
like,
the funniest one.
Yeah, of Obama telling people like not to hurt themselves, and all the Republicans like have to do the opposite of whatever he says.
Yes,
and they have to hurt themselves because that's what it was. That's what was
funny.
happening, and it wasn't and it had nothing to do with ideology. It was because Obama won in a landslide in 2008, and it scared the fuck out of the Republican Party because they thought after that they couldn't win they couldn't win federal elections anymore. So they took the strategy of, we're going to not be on board with anything Obama does. Our top priority is to get him out of office and not work with him no matter what.
Yeah, and everyone is so terrified of losing political power. Like,
yes.
I wonder if that's why things are getting worse. I wonder what the motivation is there.
It is exactly that. Everyone's terrified of losing political power.
Yeah.
I mean, Obamacare is a perfect example. Obamacare is a fucking conservative right-wing plan created by a right-wing think tank.
Yeah.
It was because when Obama was president, they tried to pass a far more liberal single-payer healthcare option, and they couldn't because there were the Democrats had a supermajority for like 6 months before Kennedy died. But during that time period, there were Democrats who were still fairly conservative in southern districts.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't
blue
sign
dogs.
Off. They were calling them blue dogs.
The blue dogs.
Blue dogs.
What would you do with one of those dogs? Would you mount it? Come on, be honest.
Okay. I would mount the shit out of it. I mean, so they had to come up with this compromise, which was a fucking Republican plan. But it doesn't matter. I'm sure people, and I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm sure people in the chat disagree with me. It doesn't matter.
Oh, they hate you, man. All of
too much emotion surrounding.
We have all these conservative listeners.
I know we do. But here's the thing you have to understand: there's too much emotion surrounding these issues that people they just immediately hear it and they get that gut intuition and they go off on it.
They did give money to people that couldn't pay it back, though.
Sure, they did.
That was.
Oh, you're talking about the housing crash?
Yeah.
No. My position is that the banks did that.
Yes.
Their position, the conservative position, is that the government did it.
But both are half right, because the banks wouldn't have done it.
But to a far lesser extent. The banks were the majority, from what I've read. Okay, which could be completely wrong and biased, of course.
It is obviously.
Obviously, the housing crash was already far in motion before the federal government got involved in giving out these bad loans.
You haven't even read The Big Short, man.
I have read The Big Short. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, you have. So you know then. Yeah.
I read most of what's
Obama got all
Michael
the inside
Lewis's
information. Books. Obama had like a hedge fund trader just totally feeding him the news and getting him up to speed on what was going to happen. Like, Obama had such an advantage over McCain. It wasn't even funny.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I forgot about that.
McCain was like totally swimming in the dark. He's like coming out and going, everything's going to be fine. The next day, like the market tanks.
He ran a very old-fashioned campaign, and that was part of the problem.
That book is great because it shows you the advantage of just having an information advantage over an opponent. Like, if you have an information advantage over an opponent, like take Quinton here. Like, we have such an information advantage. Like, he doesn't even realize he's in this opaque bubble.
Nope. He's in the bubble.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got way off top. I don't even remember how we got there, but
just in closing, though, you got to admit that the banks wouldn't have loaned the money if the government hadn't agreed to cover whatever losses they would have.
I'm not sure.
See, he doesn't want to admit it.
No. I'm saying I don't know factually how much. I don't think that's true. I don't think there was no guarantee the government would back these loans. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guaranteed the loans. Right, but okay. When I talk about the government giving out loans, I'm referring to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Right, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac didn't have the market majority on the subprime mortgages. They had a minority.
Really?
And they only got into it in like late in the game in like 2005, 2006 when the pieces were already in place.
Okay.
The private banks had been doing this for a while, and it had just been building and building and building.
You agree that the government was the dumb money, though, right?
I agree. Yeah, the government is usually the dumb money.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, rich people are like, let's bilk these people. Well, they don't know what they're doing.
Here's the problem. Here's why the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is a bad argument for conservatives to make. Okay, to defend for their housing crash. The only
Allegedly.
reason Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac got involved in the subprime mortgages is because they're quasi-private, quasi-public entities that care about making a profit.
Yes, they're the
Okay,
worst of both
and the reason
worlds.
they care about making a profit, and the reason they're quasi-private entities, is because it was a compromise between Democrats and Republicans. Because if it was up to Democrats, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would be completely run by the government, and they wouldn't care about profit. And
Right.
that's why this is a terrible argument for them. Because if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were completely government run, didn't care about profits, they wouldn't care about losing their market share of mortgages, and thus would not have gotten involved whatsoever with the subprime mortgage crisis.
You could make the opposite argument, though, that they would have gotten involved even more because they wouldn't have cared about profit. They wouldn't have cared about losing money.
No, because if it's a government institution, the whole point of it is to fill seal the gaps that people fall through. That's the point of government assistance, right?
Right.
Okay, so if the private banks are giving out all these terrible loans because they no longer give a shit about, anything, they're just giving it to poor people, right? They don't care about vetting these people. Then the government's they're just sit back and say, okay, well, they're doing our job for us. They're giving loans to poor people. We don't need to be involved in this.
Yeah. So much of
It's
the
only
problem in government, though, is that it's like political capture. It's like the rich making laws that benefit the rich, and so much of that the 2008 stuff revolves around that.
Oh, totally. And look, I criticize Obama heavily because he purposely put Eric Holder as Attorney General as a signal to the banks that he wasn't going to prosecute them criminally for what they did.
Yeah.
And I think that was, and if anyone's listening to these streams long enough, that's I always come back to. Obama not prosecuting the banks criminally for their illegal and negligent behavior is what created all the political problems that we exist in right now.
He had caught him. He had him locked up, and he's like, "I'm just gonna leave the jail cell keys right here next to the cell. Like, don't grab them and don't break out of here, guys. Don't run off with the taxpayer money, okay?"
Exactly. They just bailed. It was absurd. People didn't just want blood. People needed blood.
They
needed something.
Yes, closure is what they normally call it.
Exactly. They needed some kind of closure, and they never got it.
Yeah.
References here and there, but I guess this one's pretty mask off. Relationship ended with the commentary community. Now BreadTube is my best friend.
Oh my god. So I guess that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Are we in the commentary community? I guess we are. We're commentators. I like this.
We're not commentary community is like I'm Alex and like those kinds of people.
Oh yeah,
and like Keemstar and the drama people. Like we're like the political people.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I don't know.
Or do you disagree?
I'm doing deep fakes, man. It's going to be so off the hook. Seriously, subscribe to Adam. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, you didn't say on the stream yet. Everyone, Adam's Think Club channel has been remonetized.
The power of prayer, guys.
And it's all because I told everyone to pray.
Yes.
For Adam's channel, and it
we
works.
did the experiment, the empirical experiment, and it proved correct. Prayer does work.
That's
prayer
right.
Prayer does work.
Look, every time you tried to remonetize your channel before, you didn't have a bunch of people praying for you, but now you have a bunch of people praying for you, and it worked. That's proof.
Can't argue with the results. Seriously, I'm back in the game, guys.
Adam's no longer an atheist now.
Wait a second. wait a second here. Come on.
He's gotten full power of prayer.
Well, I believe in the simulation. I'm just controlling the simulation through prayer.
Oh, okay, there you go. Prayer controls the simulation. Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good. And I didn't have to delete my biggest video, which immediately got demonetized because it got copyright claimed. But that's okay. No big deal.
Right.
I still got good videos.
Hallucinate for $5 says it isn't left versus right, it's centrism versus autism. Thanks,
Ooh,
the ultimate centrist.
That's good. I like that.
Good. I like that. That's the way it should be.
Caffeinated Tweaker says, ask Sitch what the dog's name is.
The dog's name is Failure.
No way.
It is.
Oh my God.
we had
Mounting failure.
Yeah, mounting failure. This is such a dumb story. But we had a bunch of dogs, and we were fighting wolves, and everyone but one person's dog failed to attack. Everyone's dog just fucked up, and my dog was the first to fuck up, so I named it Failure.
That's so good.
But Hallucinate for another $2 says meant Thanos. Okay, so Thanos is the ultimate centrist.
Ooh, yeah.
There you go. I'm surprised that the SJW community hasn't been like trying to use that, like to make that a meme.
The Thanos meme.
Yeah, that's all these centrists are just Thanos. But
Well, Thanos is a person of color, so they can't really go too hard on him.
no, he's not. He's played by Josh Brolin. That guy's white as fuck.
You can't lie to me, man. I know what a color is.
Okay, okay. We're gonna move on before we get in trouble. The opinionated one for $9.99 says, I think McCarthyism overdid it and made peeps sympathetic to commies somewhat instead of denouncing them like the Nazis. Although I like to talk about sometimes to explain my point better more. We could talk about that whenever we ever get around to doing another call-in stream.
Yeah, we should do it next week. Let's do call-ins.
Maybe next week we'll do a call-in stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's a good point. I do think, at least maybe not at the time, but at least in retrospect, McCarthy definitely made people more sympathetic to the commies. So
yeah,
didn't help. Ryder John Buck for $2 says awkward silence equal comedy gold.
Yeah,
you know it. You know it.
I had that sensation when I uploaded Social Justice Detective because I thought, okay, this is either the cringiest thing I've ever made or this is comedy gold. Like you don't really know until you get feedback. So I thought, well, I can always delete it quick.
That's a good point. It's very hard whenever you make something, you think it's awesome. So it's very hard.
I feel the opposite because I thought, oh, this is cringy. This is total cringe.
I have a weird process where when I'm making something, I first think it's awesome. Then while I'm making it, I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
But then when I go back and watch it, I think it's awesome again. So it's hard for me to judge what's real.
Life is such a roller coaster. Yeah, you don't really know we're such a social animal that it's like you got to know what other people think. So
that's true. It doesn't matter if you like something. It matters if other people like it.
That's why I was saying, like, this thing, like he did some comedy bits in there that I wonder if there's just some bread tuber out there laughing his head off that we just are unaware of. So,
well, when you're on their team, I think you'll laugh like,
oh yeah,
like sympathetically.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. Contrast for 5 Aussie bucks says point of personal privilege. He, him, Australia. I
never gets old.
That should be a new super chat rule. Okay, you have to give your point of personal privilege and you have to give your pronouns, right?
Him.
Says get a new boogeyman, even though the video is about Contra being the new boogeyman.
Oh yeah.
Or the video is about Contra saving people from the new boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
When is the far left going to get a new boogeyman?
Yeah.
How about them apples?
I thought Sargon was the boogeyman for them.
Trump has taken.
Oh, Trump.
Place.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just mean in the YouTube sphere.
He used to be, but it's weird because it's so funny because Sargon was probably the biggest YouTuber who wasn't on the left to go after the alt-right, and they never give him any credit for that.
I know.
Never give him any credit for that.
Nope.
Writer John Buck for $2 says, new record, 4 hours of content on just a 17-minute video.
I know. I was supposed to get off early, Sitch. What are you doing, man? You're killing me here. I got deepfakes to make. I got stuff to do, man. This is awful.
I know. I'm missing hanging out with people right now.
Yeah.
Just
really?
to hang out with you. Yes.
Oh. Well, we'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up. Patrick Meredith for another $4.99 says, I'd just rather give money to you guys than a giant, lazy, worthless, corrupt government. I had to work with NASA on a contract. Our government sucks. That's interesting. I'd be curious to hear about that. Maybe in the call-in stream, you can tell us about your working with NASA.
I'm dying to hear about that.
Interesting.
Because go ahead.
Well, Scott Adams today, he had a good point where he says any large organization is going to be corrupt and incompetent.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Not only that, their only motivation, I mean, it's straight dictator's handbook, but it's completely true. Like their only motivation is like they see everything through the lens of, does this help me get reelected or hurt me getting reelected? So
Right.
it's completely the opposite of a business acumen. So
Well, when you talk about working with the government, I'm assuming you're talking about more like the faceless bureaucrats, not like
okay,
the
yeah.
politicians, right?
Yes.
I'm
yeah.
assuming that's so.
Well, the reason those bureaucrats can be incompetent is because the people who stay in power don't want them to lose their jobs. Like all these government jobs have unions.
Well, and also it goes back to what you were saying about staying in power, because in any large organization, it's always just this power game. It's not
Yeah.
about whoever's competent. It's
Yes.
about who's on
yeah.
whose side, who's defending their boss the best or whatever.
Yeah, I guess we should say that happens just as much in private business. The only thing is, in private business, there's this situation where people actually do go out of business, and businesses are incredibly hard to maintain because there's just so much incompetence that it
Well-
inevitably sinks in.
It's funny because I have a friend of mine who I really want to do YouTube videos of. He has like the best stories, the best job stories.
Nice.
He's very good at telling the stories. And it's funny because his first job, he worked for the government, and it was like so incompetent, so horrible. And so it wasn't corrupt. It was sort of corrupt, but like on a local level, not like on a like any national level. It was just like where he was, this small area that he was, like it was so everything was just awful and terrible. And then he left that job and started working for a private entity, and it's just the exact same thing.
Yeah, totally. No, I can see that.
It's even worse because it's like in the private entity, it's like one person who's like the guy in charge just ruins everything.
Yeah.
Like it'd be fine if it wasn't for the one person in charge who just destroys it.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough because you lose all. Like, nothing is a motivation killer like incompetent people above you. Like,
Right,
it just
right.
totally destroys your drive to succeed.
Pete, you don't want to feel like your working is like no one wants to feel like their work is getting crumpled up and thrown into the void.
Yes, exactly.
Because then it's like, why bother?
Yeah.
Jonathan Stoffel for $1.99 says the people needed closure. Instead, they got foreclosure.
Yeah. I think I made a
How do we
meme
not
about
come up
that.
with that, Adam? Are we morons?
No, I think I did a meme like about closure and foreclosure.
Okay.
I can't remember. what
I
it
didn't
was.
see it, so I'm going to give credit to Jonathan.
Well, I don't want. It was back when I was in the liberal echo chamber, so
Oh, okay.
I think I used it for evil.
Writer John Buck for $10 says, our prayers have been answered. Hallelujah. That's right. Our
Nice.
prayers were answered. Think Club is remonetized, and all is right with the world.
With the universe.
Except for all the terrible things that are happening.
Yes. Which aren't really that terrible by the numbers, but awful if they happen
Well,
to you.
yeah, by the numbers, that's true. But individually, they are terrible.
Yes.
So, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed our 4-hour or 3.5-hour video, whatever it is, on a 17-minute Quinton video. I hope you enjoyed.
We aim to please.
We aim to please here at Sitch and Adam, and we will probably do. We can do a call-in stream next week. We can totally do a call-in stream next week. We don't have anything unless something big shows up.
Yes. If there's something hot, we got to do what's hot.
That's
you
true.
guys got to
what's hot.
forgive us. We got to do that. We got to chase the hot stuff.
You got to chase the clout. I mean, the views.
The views, the money. No, the fame.
Chase the money.
No, the girls. No, what? Oh, shit. We better end it quick.
I gotta end the stream. We're getting the message is getting ruined. Let's